And the first thing they say is like, oh shit. Like, man, did you guys hear all that shit? We're like, yeah, we're in that fucking building. Like, man, we're fucking blasting. Like, both these buildings are getting blasted. So we just started shooting. And so there was like,
they were shooting the building you were in?
Yeah, shooting the building we were in too. And still not processing all this information. The medic, the corpsman comes up to me and I get a cigarette and a Motrin straight the fuck.
And there's just a bunch of fucking tofu eating fucking man bun wearing dorks and no pussy at all. Yeah.
Hold down, baby! Woo! Is he down? Is he a big one? Is he down? Trying to get the damn shot.
Bullshit, man. Look at the thing.
4 more shorts? Yeah. That sack's fucking hanging out. Don't fucking doubt the fucking 6 millimeter. Shoot him, shoot him. All right, hold on. Hold on. Let's go.
Let's go!
Those fucking Amish would have shot that motherfucker.
Got a face only mother can love. That's great.
Well, it sounds so damn long when you. So there's a whole YouTube, the video part of it. Like when you just hear it, it doesn't kind of bring it all forward. It's all hunting shit and you know, on the YouTube video for the intro. So it looked good, but it's weird to listen.
Very confusing in audio form.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, that's what kind of podcast this is going to be.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, I have no questions and I know where I can. I know
Let it all hang out, baby.
I know my lateral limits now.
Nice. And then we're going to release this one as our 100th episode, which is pretty cool
That's
too.
super cool, man.
Yeah. We're pretty excited. It's been, well, I built this room at the beginning of last year. So it's been a kind of a 2-year mission so far. And I know you have a little bit of podcast of your own too. So you kind of know how hard it is to stay, you know, up to date and current and, schedule guests and edit and keep it going and all that thing. We definitely couldn't do it if it was just me and him because we don't have enough damn time. But it's a hard thing to keep going for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely no way. I listened to your Sean Ryan podcast. It was fantastic, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. A lot of information going through there.
Did you watch it in one sitting?
No, it was actually, he told me this morning and I listened for an hour, stopped, listened for an hour, and it was like, it's like 3-something hours long.
It's like 6.
Oh, shit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's long.
That's intense.
Unless I must have skipped through some parts because I thought I listened to all of it. It was like 3.5 hours. Whenever you told me at 9, I started listening.
I knew his ass. He forget. So first of all, we had to schedule this around your time frame.
Hunting season, man.
Yeah. So I reminded him this morning. I was all just so you remember.
If you would have told me, I was literally going to go hunting this
I bet you were.
No offense, but I was going to.
Dude, I don't blame you.
That's just he has memory issues.
I have he told me I had TBI, so I'm good now.
There you go. Yeah, so we were already deep diving into peptides and psychedelics, I guess is the right word to talk about what you were taking.
Yeah.
There's one psychedelic.
Hold on. I'm usually him, but he
I guess we should introduce him.
You got to introduce the man.
Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Cody Alford. So a funny story. So he comes in, you came into the shop the other day to get some work done on a rifle because you were getting ready for your hunt that you didn't end up going on. But
correct.
So we have cameras all over the building and all the guys in the back, like we have got about 20 dudes working back here. So all the dudes in the back can see who comes in the front and all that good shit. And long story short, I've never heard of you, never followed you or anything before, but a lot of my guys have. So Taylor comes running out front and he was like a little giddy little schoolgirl fucking shaking your hand and shit. Hey, how you doing, Cody? And then it turns out that there's a whole group of guys back there, that knew who you were. So then I started talking to them and I had already asked you to be on the podcast anyway, because we do like local business type of stuff. And then obviously it was a better idea. Obviously, you got quite a few fans here in the building. So that was pretty cool.
That's super cool, man. It was weird at first because I didn't know how to like handle like being seen like that. But man, like just hearing some of these people's stories, like they're changing their lives or just like that different perspective, even if you don't agree with it, it just makes you think differently. And we all know what different thoughts can do in our lives in literally any category of life. And I'm just so stoked when people stop up. But you know what's really crazy? I was at this speaking event like 3-4 months ago. And I just got on speaking. I was taking a picture with a couple of members of the audience. And there was this like 6 like girls, young girls. And they're just like looking at, I had like a printout of my picture. And they're like pointing at it and like looking at each other and pointing at it. And they point at me. I'm like, dude, what is going on here? And I got done taking my picture and they're like, are you that guy from TikTok? I'm like, yes. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, can we take a picture? You're like, why do you guys want to take a picture with me? They're like, oh, we love what you put out there. And it really made me like think about like all these places, especially with social media, where we may not think we have influence on, like there's someone always out there watching. And I know there's a younger audience that watches me too, because bro, it's hard to be an adult in this day and age with technology and insecurities and all the rapid like comparisons that we can do in our minds that we didn't really have the opportunity to do at large scale when we were children is insane. And so these young kids are not only going through that stuff themselves, but their parents are dealing with stuff. And most parents, you know, and it's nothing against them, but most parents lack emotional intelligence. And that's not a knock, but that's generally comes from our upbringing. You know, like my dad didn't have emotional intelligence as a kid.
I don't have emotions.
Yeah, very much so.
And that's what most of us say, right? But like it all affects like the whole cycle. And so these kids kind of feel alone, but they turn to social media. So we can either put out stuff that's like impactful, or we can put out just trash.
Definitely.
Internet's full of trash. But anyways, so like took a picture of these young girls, and I'm like, damn, that's sick. And I've been stopped by TikTok, people that see me on TikTok more than any other thing. And
really?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I barely post on there. But it's so nuts, like the impact of social media. And obviously the Sean Ryan show had a huge part of that, you know, that transformation. And I'm just so grateful for the experience, because literally every day, like I cannot have bad days, even though I've allowed myself in the past to have them. But like, I feel like I'm in a different place in my life now where like I choose not to have any. And I'm constantly reminded every day how that episode impacted people. And I'll read these messages. I'm like, fuck, do they watch that thing 6 times? And fuck, they're getting help from themselves, and they don't drink alcohol anymore. They're getting that fucking job they wanted. I'm just like, that's sick, dude. And these are like, there's people looking up to these people. That's just, so just think about the impact they're having in their lives. And that's like the coolest fucking thing that I've ever got to encounter in my life, that I've like really, truly proud of. And I fucking want to hold on to it for dear life, and I will. But it's just like, being able to impact others just by being you, you know, just by being fucking you, the raw, authentic, vulnerable version of yourself that you want to be, but you're afraid that people won't accept you. And I mean, dude, they're gonna be judged no matter what we do. But if we hold ourselves back, we miss that opportunity to share that one key element that someone needs in their life, because language is code. It's all frequencies that are formed together, certain pitches and tones and certain structure of letters that make words, which form sentences. And we all know the deal. We've all heard something 1,000 times, but somebody said it differently, and I understand it now. But to everyone else, to the other 100 people or 99 people you're with, they're like, whatever, we've already known this. But you're like, I get it now. And that just changed your life, no matter how big or small that was. And you know, that's what I really love about that's what I love about social media. I'll fucking overthink it sometimes. I'm like, dude, who gives a fuck, bro? Like, you know, do you want to be liked? Do you want to like yourself? I just have to remind myself that, you know. And then I read these messages that I get from these amazing people. I'm like, whew, let's go, dude. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. That's a luxury that we're not afforded right now, and we've already done before in the past, and it doesn't really work out in our benefit, you know. So that's, I've done a lot of work on myself to kind of get to this like certain realities of like who I am as a person. I've been searching for that ever since I retired out of the military. I got out, I felt like I had no purpose, no mission. I had no fucking identity. I didn't know what I wanted to do. You could have told me fucking anything, I'd have been like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And literally I said, you know what? Fuck all that. You know, I want to know who is Cody Alford? Like, that's my name, but who am I? Like, what the fuck am I here for? Like, what is my purpose in life? Because I realized it wasn't my job, but my identity was wrapped up in my job, because that's all I ever focused.
I think that's most men in the world, past a certain age anyway.
Yeah.
You know, your life is kind of revolved around your job.
Yeah.
Part of your identity.
And, you know, I tell guys in the military, you know, and I knew it because I was super senior. So I was always around like a different element of the military, you know, higher, you know, staff meetings. I always saw behind the curtains because I was always part of them. And dude, there's packets that come left and right for retirement or someone's getting out. And I've seen guys hold on to the last year's second. I'm like, and I've seen enough examples. Like, dude, no one calls you the next day. No one's seen how you're doing. No one's asking you where the TPS report is. Like, if you die, retire, or get fired, right, you're instantly going to be replaced. And that's okay. What doesn't make it feel okay is like when you feel like a kind of a victim of it because you bled and sweat for these things, and you realize honestly how much you've given to your organization, and you're like, and you there's a part, at least me, I felt cheated because I left so fucking empty. Like I didn't know anything, but that just led me to my journey that I'm on today. You know, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, taking the victim out of me and knowing that that's just a thought that I was giving myself. That's not even real. You know, I'm grateful for all those opportunities, but it's repurposing that fucking pain or that trauma into something more productive and positive to see the bigger picture and everything, to never feel like a number, never feel like a victim, but understanding that it is a job, you know, but life was our first job we were ever given. And most people don't even pursue that. You know what I'm saying? It's like playing Grand Theft Auto. There's the game, there's like the game that you can play, or you can just go free roam. And then you get lost in the free roam because you can drive the cars because you're not on that level yet. You can fly the helicopter because you're not on that level yet. You can put the code in, get all the guns, all that shit. You have all the fun you want to right now. But you'll never ever fucking see what the final like cinematic video of, you know, the pit boss is going to be, because you'll never get to that fucking destination because you'll never start the journey, you know? And
how long were you in?
Yeah.
15 and a half years.
Shit.
Yeah. 15 years, 7 months, actually. Yeah. So I came back from my last deployment to Northern Iraq. I was the Special Operations Task Force North Operations Chief. So my job was managing all the special operations teams in Northern Iraq. So I had SEALs, Green Berets, Marine Raiders, plus I managed 2 other countries that we had teams outfitted in. And dude, it was, you know, it was my first deployment where my 98% of my deployment was all just staring at like 12 feet of TV screens, right? And my war was fought, you know, watching ISR feed, drone feed, you know, showing Mad Max vehicles, you know, of ISIS fighters that are fucking like welded shut because they can't escape. Their only option is to blow themselves up, you know, just hammering down towards like friendly forces. And I'm like, holy fuck, I hope that nerd in Arizona turns that plane fast, you know, because it's not managed overseas. It's managed in this US.
Managed by a penguin.
And it was just so fucking stressful to like be at that level and realizing how much red tape that we have to fight, or people in those positions actually have to do to make sure the guys on the ground get what they fucking need, and how delusional like the upper echelon is. And so I loved it, because unlike I'd say most of my peers, like I used my fucking rank for what it is for, right? Once you pick up a certain rank, like it literally takes an act of Congress to take it from me. Now you can fire me from my job, but I have to do something wrong for that to happen, right? And I was just always fighting the higher headquarters to like, no, go wake up the general, sir. That's your fucking job. You know, like everyone's afraid to wake up the general, the big bad wolf, who I need his authorization to launch a bomb off a fixed wing aircraft. That's their fucking job, but they're scared because it's 3 a.m. Like, what world did we live in? And so I had all this stress plus, you know, a shit ton of traumatic brain injury leading up to that. I was shot in the helmet at 18 on my first deployment. I've been in explosions. I've been a fucking preacher. I've done anything and everything, shot every gun that you possibly can, and been exposed to all the rocket explosions and all this type of stuff. And all that shit had added up to this point that I didn't see what was like coming, because during the same deployment, I'm taking like a fuck ton of cat naps, like 10-minute cat naps. Like I'm constantly tired. And I come back from this rotation and I'm just like done, dude. I'm drained. Like I'm stressed the fuck out. Like I know it. And so my next role was this senior enlisted advisor at our schoolhouse. It was like a super just cake job. I'm an E8. I'm also managing E8s and O2s under like captains underneath me, you know, or O3, excuse me. And so like I have it pretty fucking easy. So I took this time to like go to our brain clinic. And they call it Intrepid Spirit in the Marine Corps. And so I go there and they're like, yeah. Did anyone ever tell you that you might not be able to still be a Marine? And that's what kind of like started this like whole like process of like getting into like one, taking care of myself. But so in special operations, if you're in past 15 years and you're on a medical board and found unfit for duty, you can submit a package for early retirement, at least at the time. And so that's exactly what happened to me. I did my medical board. I was in Tampa, Florida, doing a experimental brain treatment. and they approved my package for like retirement, or for like, hey, the medical board said you're done. you got to get the fuck out. And so I go back home, I smell early retirement package. So I'm sweating bullets, right? Like I'm so stressed. I'm such a trauma response at this point. Like I got a cracked tooth at this point from like grinding my teeth. My hair's falling out. I'm completely like skits out of my mind. I'm on like 4 different uppers, literally a molecule away from meth. And I am just trying to survive. I'm falling off all my motorcycles. I get lost driving down the road. I fucking leave every door in the house open, leave the water running, put the bread in the toilet. Like that was like my thing. And so my whole life went from being a hero, like this supreme human, to like, I'm drooling on myself. I'm having uncontrollable adrenaline surges. I'm having fucking loud outbursts. Like I am losing my shit. And I was on this verge of really jeopardizing like everything I've ever worked for in my career. And I would never worked hard in my career to leave one day and be like, that motherfucker had a badass career. No, I worked my ass off because I loved my job, and I loved what it stood for and who I got to help out with. And I was on that verge of confirming that I was everyone's thoughts once, like a big tattoo guy. Everyone thought I was a fucking retard, or, some, hothead cowboy. And that never was the case. But I knew that I was on this verge of like confirming that, oh yeah, I always fucking knew he was that motherfucker. And I just didn't know how to handle that because this was a completely new phase of my life. And so when my retirement package got approved, I had 30 days to get out. And that's when I like started to melt down even more. I didn't know what I wanted to do, who I was, all that type of stuff.
Suicidal thoughts?
No, I had suicidal thoughts back in 2006. I wouldn't say I tried to take my life. I had like all my tabletop assortment out, the booze, the gun, because if I wanted to take my life, I imagine I really would do it. But I was on the verge. I was having a lot of nightmares back in the day. One of my best friends, he just got fucking destroyed on deployment. I guess I'm being haunted by him. Like, hey, come with me. I'm like, I was really fucked up. And this is right back after my first deployment, which was Fallujah, Iraq, which was fucking insane. My second deployment was Operation Steel Curtain, which was fucking insane. It's just nothing but like town hopping and like destruction and like just murder, death, kill. It's fucking crazy, right? It was intense shit that it was still bothering me at this time because I was just going on deployments and working up deployment.
To paint this whole picture, what did your MOS start out as?
So I joined the Marine Corps as an 0311 with the intentions to become a scout sniper. There's no wait at the time to go strictly to snipers. So I did what they said, what they recommended, become an 0311. And then when you make it to the infantry, try out for the sniper platoon. And that's what I did. So I started off in state platoon for my first 2 deployments. I was a scout sniper. And then I went to force reconnaissance, became a recon Marine. And then around that time frame, MARSOC stood up. So the Marine Special Operations Command, and I did that from 2006-ish, 7 till I retired in 2018.
Can you kind of go into some Army infantry guy talking here? From the outside looking in, like the Marine Raiders are kind of the bastard children of the Marines that the Marines don't even know what to do with. Can you kind of go in what a Marine Raider's job actually is?
So Marine Raiders are the only special operations that the Marine Corps has. And, but when you just say the bastards, that's kind of like how they view the Marine Corps has a strong.
It's not how I'm saying you, I'm saying it's how we hear how you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because like the Marine Corps has a strong culture of like, everyone's the same. And, that's dope, but that's clearly not the fucking case. There's people that hate their fucking jobs in the military. There's probably 75% of them, right? I'm not the same as that person who hates their job, right? And you don't need to be a combat ground MOS or special operator to have a badass job, but we're just not all the same. And so MARSOC, Marine Corps still makes you, I don't know what they still do now because it's been out a few years, but you still have to go to the Marine Corps professional military education to get promoted, because you don't get promoted within your own organization. You get promoted by the Marine Corps based off your allotments for your job, like every other MOS, but it's very watered down. Like most of when we first started, and probably still to this day, a lot of our higher echelon officer enlisted probably had no right to be there because they lack the aptitude and the mindset to be a free flow thinking machine by supporting the warfighter and pushing bottom up integration. And they're very top down heavy because they're the standard military education and, the big Marine Corps. And so that caused a lot of issues. So you'd always have guys like you're just dealing with stupid stuff in the rear when you should be focusing on training. Or I mean, it's just the grass is definitely greener where you water it. Was it better than being in the big Marine Corps? 1,000%. Was it anything bad that made me wish I was gone every day? Absolutely not. But you do find yourself sometimes being like kind of limited as your overall ability. And that mindset runs through the organization itself. But dude, all in all, it's still badass. I mean, these guys and girls are doing badass shit. You know, they do have a lot of freedom of movement, but it always comes down to like who's your officer and senior enlisted in charge. And most people lack backbones, and most people, especially in the officer world at MARSOC, because we are such a small, we're small and we're brand new at all the special operations branches. So one big battle that MARSOC has is the senior enlisted and the senior officer. They haven't had special operations command billets before. Like
I was literally going to bring that up. That's like one of the weirdest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. So these guys, so we have a few team commanders. So an officer comes in through the pipeline, they graduate, they do a team deployment, they have to go to like another job. That's the only thing that sucks about the officers. Like they only get one team rotation. Back in the day, they get like two because we had such a small force. Now it's bigger. And most of them are like, man, fuck this. I'm getting out. Went to school for 2 years. I get 1 2-year workup and deployment. And then you want me to go work at desk? Like, fuck this. I'm going to go work for the CIA. That's what majority of them do. But there's a few of them that stayed in that are now company commanders or battalion commanders. So which is tight. But a lot of, to be competitive to their special operations peers and like the other branches of service, those guys have worked more joint billets. MARSOC hasn't had that many joint billets at the time. So what they were doing, they were creating positions inside our own organization to mimic the command structures at the other units, to basically give our officers and senior enlisted that command time to make them competitive to go work these special operations command billets. So I'm glad they did something about that because we have to get in there. But it's just weird. It's like, we got to be Marines. I'm like, bro, do you guys ever look at like Vietnam pictures or World War II pictures? Like that dude's wearing a necklace full of fucking ears and you're worried about my white socks.
Yeah.
You know, like it's always funny.
Like on the enlisted side, correct me if this is just the way I was looking at the Marines, like for the MARSOC side, if you have an E8, when you become an E8, you have to choose, you want to be a leadership E8, first sergeant, or stay in the fight side, right?
Correct.
But you can, if you stay on the fight side, you can never become a sergeant major.
Correct.
So that sergeant major that veered away from you is away from you for a while, comes back in charge, or may or never been in charge of any kind of special operations, but they're in charge of all of a sudden making decisions. Is that how it goes down?
So they're in charge of making administrative manpower decisions. Mm-hmm. They are not in charge of making tactical decisions. So like I was an E8 master sergeant, not a first sergeant.
So you went on the action side.
Yeah, not because we don't have organic first sergeants in my organization. So if I wanted to be a sergeant major in MARSOC and I'm selected for the next rank being E8, because I can only be a sergeant major if I'm a first sergeant. If I was to put F on my packet, symboling like, hey, when I submit my promotion package to be eligible, I want to be a first sergeant. If I got approved for that, I would have to leave MARSOC, and more than likely I'd go to like the air wing for 3 years. After I went through the first sergeant school, all that shit, I would do my time. They basically take any type of ground guy or girl and put them in an opposite spectrum to cross-pollinate the leadership. So they think that's the best way. And so then I would do my time over there, hope I get orders back to MARSOC to be a first sergeant in MARSOC, and then wait my time to pick up sergeant major. And then I would work my way up the regimental side like that. But on the team guy side, we have master sergeant, then we have master gunnery sergeant. So a master sergeant still operates on a team. They're actually the senior enlisted on a team. They're called the team chief, or an operations chief, which is in charge of the company, which is 4 teams. And you will stay in MARSOC till you're dead, you retire, or you get fired. So that's basically how that works. And based upon your performance, your record, all that type of stuff, it's kind of like what billets you have, because not everyone will flow through, for instance, like an operations chief billet. There's only 14 of those, or 16 of those billets. 16, 12 of those billets, 16, fuck, I don't even know, in a battalion. So I lied. There's 4 companies of battalions, so there's only 4 of those seats. So, and there's 3 battalions, so that's what, 12? there's only 12 of those seats in MARSOC at any given point. And so not everyone's going to flow through that position, but there's other E8 positions that need to get filled. That makes sense. So, but it was super weird. I really felt like when they started MARSOC, we should have had like some fucking SEAL or some like AFSOC guy or USASOC guy come down and like basically like shadow mentor his equivalent Marine leadership, because treating us like shit is one thing, but when they treat us like shit and treat others like shit on the outside spectrum, we look childish, and that's never good. But I can tell you much from I was on the second West Coast deployment out of MARSOC to ever happen, and bro, we were making shit happen. We've been building a name for ourselves no matter what has ever happened. Like, yeah, sure, there's always room for improvement in any organization, but like, dude, we're still kicking ass. We're, we were the youngest to take over like a special operations task force where, so a MARSOC command held that position. Like, we just move fast. Guys and girls are hungry there. And just like any other job, you can put all the restrictions you want to, but we'll always find a way. And that's probably the coolest thing. It's just like the resiliency that exists there. Cause it's like the Marine Corps hate with a little bit more discontent. And you're like, I thought it'd be better. What is better? You just have to work a little bit harder to get what you want, to have the outcome that you want.
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength in a lightweight build. STOCKY'S stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
What do you think about the Marines getting rid of scout snipers?
It's crazy. So I actually spoke at the last Marine Corps Scout Sniper graduation that took place in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. So that was like super badass to get that opportunity. But they've been talking about, I joined the Marine Corps in 2003, made it to my sniper platoon in 2003, like October, November timeframe. And they were talking about getting rid of the program back then. They've always been talking about getting rid of the program. So I've heard rumors like the commandant, he was the guy in charge when like those Marine snipers like pissed on the dead Taliban, right? Like posting it was definitely not the smart play to do, right? But like there's been talk about like, well, that happened under his watch and he always swore he's going to get rid of them because they're fucking derelicts and shit like that. And so I don't really know, but at the same time, it's still stupid. Recon has their sniper program. They're still like designated marksman programs. They just might not call it like a sniper platoon. It's going to come back eventually.
Oh, I would predict hardcore it's going to come back. There's no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, it got rid of for Vietnam, right? And then it came back and all that type of stuff. So like, it's just the Marine Corps, dude. It's just the military in general. They have to make fucking weird ass changes, because that's how you keep it going.
I was talking about this before you came in. Is you would ask any general public person, does the government suck being ran? Yeah. Well, why would the military be indifferent? The military just sucks, is just as bad as the fucking federal government, as finance, Department of Education, whatever, Department of Transportation, they all suck. Why would the military suck any less?
Right.
As far as being ran.
Yeah. But at the same time too, man, like could you imagine being the person that came up with the business plan for the military? Like, it is really good. Now, we see things differently, but we have to also understand most people that join the military, they just see things differently. People, I don't give a fuck who you are, whatever reason why you joined the military. If you signed literally a lease for your soul for 4 years, that's fucking hard to do. Your reasons behind it are irrelevant to me. College isn't even a 4-year soul commitment. Nothing is in life. So to go submit yourself to something that literally could alter your life forever, good, bad, or indifferent, like that takes some nuts. When you do things that are courageous like that, you begin to see things differently. You still are an idiot in some capacity. We're all an idiot until we learn that thing that makes us an idiot in that category. But like, people just see things differently. So people pick up on this shit, like, and it it's hard to not see it once you can like peek behind the curtains, but at the same time, like the system itself, like they move so many moving parts, and it's really fucking crazy. Like it is a Amazon of like the war industry. You know?
It's a money spending machine.
The fucking Pentagon can't even figure out where their money goes. But my son just got out of the Air Force after 6 years, and he told me, I was like, "You gonna stay in? You gonna get out?" He goes, "Dad, this is just low key socialism." The military as a whole. He's like, I appreciate the individual people, but I fucking hate the command.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that went around in your head a few times. And it's like low key socialism. It has to be, in a way. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it either. Cause like, I mean, when you think like, I'm glad I got programmed when I went to boot camp. Could you imagine if all those guys you went to boot camp with, graduated boot camp the way they showed up? Could you imagine how scary and like destructive, like the institution would be? Could you imagine how destructive and scary war fighting would be? Small unit tactics would be with that mentality. So like the meat grinder of like the psychological program that takes place in any boot camp, it's honestly, it's pretty fucking epic. Because especially in the Marine Corps, dude, like I was 145 pounds soaking wet when I graduated. And dude, I could like kill anybody, kick anyone's ass. Like I was the man. It was a juggernaut. Bro, if you would have flicked me, I would have fell over. But in my head, dude, I would have fought.
So true. So fucking
a monster.
True. and it's the guy. I didn't go. You'd always hear the guy. I didn't go in because that fucking drill sergeant got in my face. I'd have kicked his ass. No, you wouldn't. You fucking wouldn't have.
And if you would have, dude, like you're just a fucking punk, dude. Like you can't say you want to go to the park and bitch because you're choosing not to ride the rides. You know, like you have to like want to do something, be a badass, get in shape, serve your country, prove something for yourself. Like there has to be some type of catalyst for you to do that. So every time idiots are like, oh, I'd punch him, like, motherfucker, you won't even get in shape. You're not going to punch nothing. Like people are just so fucking talking life. And but military people are not. Now we might get out and be all talk because we have shit we need to work on. But you know, most guys and girls, they forget how brave it was to just do something even blindly like that, you know, and how like, you know, impressionable that decision was in your life. Take all the bad out of it, but just look at the facts. You're not the same person when you left there, not even boot camp, you know, and you start to do business differently. You start to see organized chaos kind of take place and you're like, what is real? What could be better? Like you just see shit differently. That's why I truly believe like healed veterans that actually go after what the fuck they want in life. Like, dude, we'll change this country, you know, because veterans are force multipliers. It just simply is. Everyone's like, oh, my friend Timmy's a vet. Everyone thinks Timmy's a badass, even though Timmy's in hell inside his head, you know? But if Timmy does something good and keeps on going and setting a positive impact, dude, that just influences so many more fucking people. Because that's their veteran friend. Because every stigma with veteran, you're an alcoholic, you got PTSD, you got fucking shit you have to work on, and you're emotionally unavailable, right? It's like this stigma of stuff. But could you imagine working on those fucking things and like being a force multiplier because you want to better yourself? And you know the best way to lead in the military is not by your fucking voice, it's by your actions. But then we forget these things because it's easy to forget. You know, it's so easy to forget how much you've done, how far you've come, and who you fucking are. It's so easy to forget those things. I don't care who you are. I truly believe like the purpose of life is to remember that fucking time where you were happy. That is still you today. It's just a decision that's keeping you from that. And if that decision cannot be identified, then that's your target. That's your journey to go on. Why am I not allowing myself to be happy? Or why am I blowing up? Or why do I feel like I can't get a fucking job? Or why do I feel like I can't maintain a job? Right? Like that friction point, that's something to like start looking at. And people are like, oh, I'm so scared. How could you be scared, bro? You signed a fucking contract for 4 years, got injected with God knows what. You went through the fucking best psychological fucking programming man has seen, right? Then you've submitted yourself to this like 4+ year like job where like, dude, you did not get to do what you wanted to do. And you either made it the best you could or you just fucking fought it the whole time like a cold plunge, right? Like that's badass. Like, people don't get those opportunities and you did. And so that's just supercharge our like desire to like, fuck yeah, dude. And it's not like, I'm a vet, you owe me shit. No, I owe me shit. I don't owe you shit. I owe me shit, you know? Because I wasn't a punk before I joined. So why would I allow myself to be a punk? Because life gets hard or I get older or I forget. I forgot. So if I can always remind myself who the fuck I am, you know, where'd I come from, where am I going, then it keeps me focused on like all the shitty job environments or like the bureaucratic bullshit or like I don't give a fuck. I'm going to maximize my lanes because that's what I do, right? Most people won't go into the yellow for a left and right lateral limit. Say sure as fuck won't go towards red, even though that red is still playable real estate. And I fucking push those envelopes. That's why I never got in trouble, because I stayed within the rules. I just was willing to go further than other people because they stopped when comfort fucking hit them or discomfort hit them, you know, or peer pressure or the illusion of being different. I've never once signed up for a course that says be like everybody else. That'd be great. No one would join the army or the military and be like everybody else. Nobody fucking wants that.
Yeah, it was be all you can be when I went in, not be average.
Is it be? Oh yeah, not be average. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not their slogan now, though, right?
Yeah, be all you can be was like the thing when I went in 97.
I like that one.
It was be all you can be, and then it became an army of one.
I remember that one too.
Yeah.
What is it now?
I think it's all the trannies are gonna get kicked out by Trump.
Dude, what if?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I went to infantry basic, Sandhill, Fort Benning. I cannot fathom having females in there. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I can't fathom it.
I mean, I've been in gunfights with females. You know, every deployment I've been on, the special operations, I have some type of female in or around my vicinity, whether that's like a interpreter or like a female handling team or an intelligence team, something, a medical team, something of that nature, right? So I've been exposed to them. I got in a fight with a bunch of engineers and there was like 3 females in that. And dude, it was their first gunfight. It was just super sick to be part of it. And you know what? Never once saw anyone freak out or lose their shit. The problem is the mental maturity in men. We're fucking primal. And I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, the reason why guys get jacked on teams or on deployments is because you're around nothing but testosterone. You're around dudes, right? You have hate and discontent and caffeine that's fueling your body. You're constantly shocking your cortisol system because you're like, fuck, am I going to die on this patrol or not? Are we going to get fucked up? Or man, I just got my adrenaline spurt because we saw an loom in the air, or we got a gunshot, right? Like you're constantly just in this like fight or flight. Then your only suppressant is fucking the gym. So you just get fucking jacked because you're around that mentality. Well, when you bring in like distractions like females, when you already have emotionally fucking immature people, it's like a fucking war, right? It's just like, I don't know, your PRs go up like 10 pounds, right? But, you know, in the infantry, I don't fucking know. Like,
and that's not that I don't think if they can do the standard, I don't give a fuck if females there or not.
But you know the deal with the military, dude. There is no standard. Standards are guidelines. You know, we have been to how many courses or boot camps, you know, have you experienced in your life where the standard was fucking modified for turd nugget to get in, you know? But at the same time, standards have also been modified to let guys like Cody Alford in too, you know? So like, I'm kind of in it for both ways.
Physical standards, like say when I got, speaking of that, like I got out, I was going to be a fireman. And there was 2 different standards. The male standard had to drag 80-pound dummy up these stairs. The female had to drag 115-pound dummy up the stairs. And I'm thinking, well, they don't get to fucking choose the dummy when shit hits the fan. I don't want to be that dummy if that person, whether it's a big fucking out of shape dude or a fucking female that can't do it. If they can physically do it, I know they can mentally do it. Females are fantastic. The reaction times, everything better than males. But physically do it, that's what I always come back to.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff makes absolute sense to me, and all those things to be taken into consideration. But the moment that we had some like fucking lady dude talk about our, you know, represent ourselves, our military,
the lady,
you know, the moment that we,
the lady dude,
the moment we made don't ask, don't tell a fucking big policy, bro, like who ever gave a fuck about any gay people being in the military? Nobody did.
Nope.
Nobody did. The military made the gay policy. They made that shit segregating. They made fucking females appear fucking weak in the military. Dude, there would have been no World War II without the females. You know what I'm saying? There have been females as civilians, female fucking nurses overseas. Like there would have been no fucking casualty care or like war production, right? And the military does a really good job at creating these fucking disruptor segments of like their information operation campaign they do, right? We made the whole like gay policy a big deal. We made this whole like females getting a shot. They didn't have to blow it up that fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
They could have just been opened it up. There's, especially for MARSOC, females should be able to try out for MARSOC. Females should not be on a MARSOC team. Females should have their own specific role, and there's certain categories and sections inside of our organization that they would be extremely well suited, you know, for big boy, big girl shit, you know?
They make fantastic pilots.
I mean, they make fantastic everything. They just need an opportunity. But the thing is like, that's where the Marine Corps or military is stupid. Oh, you want an opportunity? Let's put you in the mint. No, dummy. There's a better opportunity for her in maybe a different skill set, but supporting or directly, you know, part of this, but not having to mirror the same fucking job, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, think about how many, every militia I've ever trained, they're all dudes. Think about if we train female fucking militias, right? Because guess who gets killed in fucking war? Husbands, right? Sons, brothers, cousins, elders. What if we train the fucking female? Well, if I can't search a female, what makes you think I'm gonna be able to train them? But if I have a badass female that's able to build that rapport, train them, and literally build like the G.I. Jane fucking militia army, right? Because we need to think long-term, right? That's super influential. That would make so much more sense, but it's just the military, dude. Military doesn't make sense.
As soon as you said that, I instantly went to suck my dick.
Oh yeah, from G.I. Jane.
Hey, so how long have you been out now?
Since 18. So what is?
6 years or so.
Yes, sir.
So you talked about psychedelics and how those have helped you kind of make your way through PTSD and brain injuries and things like that. You want to walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, man.
Like where you started, how you started it, what you've kind of evolved into. You mentioned mushrooms, a couple trips to Mexico, things like that. Like, how has that progressed and how has that helped you?
I also think you should bring in getting shot in the bean on your first deployment.
Say it one more time.
Yeah.
Getting shot in the bean in your first deployment.
What about it?
You could bring that into the kind of the equation.
So I've always been, my very first deployment, it was day one in the city of Fallujah. So it was March 26, 2004. We've been in Fallujah probably like a week now, some change. We just had a left seat, right seat with the Army and the Air Force. And then we're going to go push the city. That's what we're fucking doing today. And so I was a point man on a sniper team. So our role as a sniper is be the eyes and ears of the battalion commander. And so my sniper team was constantly pushing up. The infantrymen would establish a foothold, like basically pushing through the city. And then we would move up to them, and then we would find the location we would patrol to and basically keep on establishing this like leapfrog effect, being forward of our battalion, feeding any information that we found or heard. And so we've already got up to a couple rooftops at this point, and my main job as a point man, I'm the first guy up, which means I'm also on door security. So I'm on like rear security the whole time. And so my team's engaged in some firefights and shit. And I'm realizing that like, man, I had to like be lower because I'm getting all these impacts around my helmet as I'm still taking a knee, you know, because they're high, they're low. We're getting shot at from all different directions. And this is like Bush League Fallujah right now. Like this is just pop, 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 pop. Like no one really knows what's there yet. And then right before like afternoon, my team patrols to another building. We set up this overwatch position, this like a second story, like under construction building. So it's like still center blocks everywhere and like nothing was complete, no doors, no windows. And I am by the door, and my radio operator is on the right side of the window. And so our antenna, I'm right by the our radio. And so we're kind of like cycling through posts. We've probably been there for like an hour now. So we're kind of just like doing our parties of work done, our security, chow if we need it. And then we're kind of like just rotating through so no one gets like burned out on glass and shit like that. And I spot these guys running across this building across the street. And that's when we started getting engaged. So we started taking like machine gun fire through a window. So mind you, we only have two M16s, 2 9mm pistols, and then 2 bolt action sniper rifles. So the 2 snipers on the team, my team leader ATL, they're just sprawled out on the ground. They are fucking not doing nothing because they're just trying not to get murdered. And they can't get in the fight. You ever try to like stick out a window with a 10, back in the day, we had 10 power fixed scopes. So like instantly 10 powers. We didn't have ACOGs at the time. Like we had none of that shit. So that's a lot of that's a lot of scary to get sucked in on something when you don't know where anything's at. So anyways, my buddy Ben and I are basically doing like talking guns through the window. And I ran out of ammunition. I came back. I reloaded. As soon as I reloaded, I got back through the window. I got hit right in the helmet, which at the time I didn't know where I got hit. I just heard this like I remember this large like exhale, like life leaving me. And I remember I'm like, holy fuck, I'm dead. And I saw my body from this like third person perspective, like in this room, like kind of this like top down view of like this room that I was in.
Shit.
Like everything was still oh shit, that was scary. Everything was still taking place and stuff like that. And I got like sucked right back into I saw this like bright light, and just got sucked back into my body. And I woke up like crying and convulsing. My assistant team leader was kicking me. He was in the prone position. He's like, holy shit, we thought you were dead, but we didn't see any blood. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I'm not there. Well, my body fell closest to the radio. So they're like, dude, get on the fucking radio and call for help. And so I got on the radio and I started giving like the worst transmission in like military history. Like, you know how we say break after like sentences or words?
Yeah.
I'm like, break. Like every word is getting a break in my communication. And clearly,
Roger, break.
yeah, it's bad. It's a meme, but memes didn't exist back then.
Right.
And so yeah, I gave the worst transmission. We got a hold of nobody, and so we broke down comms, and we basically like low crawled out of the second floor to this like small room and like a bathroom downstairs to set up comms again, because we're still taking direct fire and we really have no good security anywhere. So if anyone's enveloping on us, you know, closing in, like we're not going to see that. So we moved downstairs so we have a better vantage point for that. And that's when we're in the bathroom. My radio operator, Ben, he's like in the fucking, the radio up again, trying to get some comms. And I'm on risk security. I see this like fucking top of a turban walk by this window, like this much of the head. I'm like, oh shit. So like my heart's like out here. I'm still like fucking woozy and I'm still crying. Like I know what's going on now, but like there was like no like, man, are you good now? Did you dust yourself off? It was just like, oh, you're back from whatever just happened to you. Okay, let's get in the fight.
You can pull the trigger, get back in there.
Yeah, I'm still holding my gun. Like I know where I'm at. I know what's going on, but I'm still like, I'm trying to take in what the fuck just happened, right? And so I just see the shadow get bigger and bigger in this main room coming towards like this little hallway, which led to the bathroom, the other room that we're in, my team. And I just like hit this fucking guy in the face with my muzzle. I see a gun, nothing like that. Older dude. I'm like, fuck, they're like trying to like collect the body or like, you know, get a fucking battle damage assessment. And by this time we started having more guys like walk around our fucking house, dude, like unarmed, and like my team was like, grab those fucks. So I start bringing these guys in the house. We have like 6 dudes and my guys got their pistols out and shit. We're like, bro, we are so fucked. Like what's going on? Like, and so the best plan we had was like, let's just fucking make a run for it. So we like, cause if they try to get a jump on us, it's 50-50. I don't really like 50-50 odds if I don't have to have them. And so we just fucking beeline it out of there. We run down the street. We end up linking up with a like another infantry squad. And the first thing they say is like, oh shit. Like, man, did you guys hear all that shit? We're like, yeah, we're in that fucking building. Like, man, we're fucking blasting. Like both these buildings are getting blasted. So we just started shooting. And so there was like,
they were shooting the building you were in?
Yeah, shooting the building we were in too. And still not processing all this information. The medic, the corpsman comes up to me and I get a cigarette and a Motrin straight the fuck up. That's what I get.
That's
because
the most fucking militaristic thing I've ever
TBIs
heard.
were not a thing back then. So no one, and I was probably like one of the third cases at the time, second or third case at the time for Fallujah to have a helmet strike and live. And so it was kind of like one of those, like luck shot things. I think it was like perceived as. And then we were told that like Delta Force is doing like a cordon knock on a building down at the edge of the city. So we patrol down there to set up a sniper overwatch. I'm like dragging my fucking rifle and my assistant team leader's like, pick up your fucking rifle. I'm like, I'm trying, just like throwing up. And like, I am like having the significant effects of concussion. We get down to the railroad tracks. He's like, hey dude, you can go to sleep now. And I'm just fucking pass out. When I wake up, when everything's done, my platoon commander, he's like, hey, we're going to send you back to get checked out. I'm like, no, I want to stay with the guys. Like, I don't want to fucking go back. But he's like, hey, we're leaving in the morning. We're just setting up mortars for tonight for security. You have my word. We're all leaving tomorrow morning. I'm like, okay. So I went back and, I mean, he didn't owe me that, but it was like really dope to like have him like talk to me that way. He was my sniper platoon commander. So I hope he wasn't a tool bag, you know, which he was not. But, so I go back home and I get evaluated by my buddy, and literally just like, it was like some like head concussion, like TBI wasn't even like a phrase that was used. So that was kind of what started all my like traumatic brain injuries, you know, and that was in 2004. So I was 18 years old when that happened. Well, you add 15 years of that, or really, I guess if you take out my time on the medical board, like 13 years of that was the deploying and actively shooting or using fucking some type of explosives or being around explosives, multiple deployments, doing the same thing, but with no minimum safe distance, with no like real safety precautions in place. Because it's not an admin environment, it's a realistic environment. So it's a get the job done environment. All those things affected me all these years. And where most guys kind of discredit themselves, like, oh, I didn't go to combat, I don't have a TBI, or I never got wounded, I don't have a TBI. Bro, if you shot a fucking rocket or dropped a mortar, you got TBIs, dog. Like those violent jolts in the 7-ton, I don't care who you are, those things cause these small ripples in your brain. Well, what does a drop of the bucket do? Nothing. It's a drop in the fucking bucket. Over time, though, that bitch is going to overflow, you know? So like we discredit these small things and wonder why our buckets are overflowing, you know, one day, because it's happened so long down the road. And that's what happened with me with all my shit. I think like 2010, I tried to like go to the brain clinic and was actually on my way to go because I started to like already feel things at that phase of life. But my medical officer is like, hey, dude, if they find anything wrong with your brain, you might not be able to go to selection. I was trying to try out for an Army Special Operations Unit. And I'm like, fuck that. I'll just do this later. You know, I just put off myself because that's what you do, right? You got fucking goals. You got to go after that shit, suck up the rest. Well, never got a chance to go, but I also never gave my chance to go to the brain clinic until I came back from this last deployment that I told you guys about. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I need help. Like my sleep is shit and I have zero for attention and I'm constantly tired. Like I need fucking help. And when I started learning about this, I heard like a couple of these cues of like how psychedelics, you know, at the time the conversation was mushrooms, how that can help create new neural pathways for your brain and how it can help with depression, anxiety, forms of PTSD, fucking body ailments, right? It could help with just like the neuroplasticity in your brain, which helps you heal and learn and simulates all that type of stuff. And so I always had that seed planted. And when I retired, it was like probably 20 days, 20 days when I was out. I was at a buddy's house and he knew I was retired. I was telling him, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking what I do. I'm kind of like fucking lost and shit. And he brought me 5 grams of mushrooms and he's like, hey, take these. I'm like, how much do I take? He's like, take all those. I'm like, okay. And that was it. That was the only instructions I ever gotten, but I also didn't feel like I needed any more either. Like I felt really called.
Is it a specific type of mushroom?
Just there's different strands of the psilocybin. So like the magic mushroom, right? So like there's like penis envy, or there's the golden teachers. There's a bunch of different, it's like cannabis. There's a bunch of different strains out there.
Different strains of mushrooms, but you're after that psilocybin content, like THC content.
Right, but there's no THC.
Gotcha. Yeah, but that's the comparative.
Yeah, like you're not going to go buy portobellos and be like, I'm going to heal my brain.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen.
No.
But, you know, you get psilocybin, you know, psychedelic magic mushroom, like you're going to do a lot of stuff for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And I had this really inclination to like set some intentions and like no expectations. Like I was already reading a couple books of like, not really self-help, but like self-development, like a self-journey, right? Like just betting on you type of shit. And I was like reluctantly opening my mind to these things. So I'm like, all right, let me reflect on like all the things I actually want to address, you know, when I do this. And that set me up for success. It helped me kind of face a lot of those things. But what I did wrong, and I think potentially people run the risk of doing also wrong, is when I got done doing my first journey, you know, by myself, I was in the woods, I had intentions, I had a campfire, like it was sick. But I felt so free the next day. I had no stress, no anxiety. Like I was like chill as a cucumber. I was so happy. It was great. But what I failed to do was like do any of the work on myself. Like I didn't create better habits. I wasn't doing healthier things. I was still doing the same thing. I just felt better. So after like 3 months, I resorted back to like that, oh, I'm dark and empty again. I did nothing to develop my white space, you know, for lack of a better term, you know, as things look brighter. And so when I did them again, I'm like, okay, I have to implement these new things. So that's when I really started to get into like my own personal development and like find out what works for me, trying new things, breathing, praying, meditating, like all these things that I laughed at before that I'm like, you know what? They've been around for fucking centuries for a reason. You know, why am I being so narrow-minded? I remember back in 2009, I think, 2009. So I was part of our schoolhouse when we created it for the pipeline. So before we ever had guys come through our pipeline, the instructors, we created our curriculum, the curriculum for MARSOC, we now call it ITC Individual Training Course. And we're basically going through this, calling it the instructor development course, basically proof the concept, make sure everything's buttoned up. So when we do bring our first students on, we just execute flawlessly as possible. Well, during our instructor development, one of our senior guys I think he did like 20 plus years in the Marines, Force Recon guy, you know, he's probably in his late 40s, maybe early 50s at this time. Like he's an older, mature man. He has way more wisdom and knowledge than all of us in just life, right? But I'm like 21-year-old dude, 22-year-old dude. I'm fucking king shit. Been on like 4 deployments already. Like I'm badass. And this chick came in to do this like ancient samurai meditation technique. And she came in with this like oil diffuser and her cloud music, like, oh, like all this peaceful shit. And she's like, everyone touch your navel. Touch your temple and your navel, your belly button. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like, this is gay. And, you know, looking back, how immature I was, and that's why guys don't get help, because it's so foreign and we talk shit, and like you will not do things in those types of organizations that bring unnecessary heat to you. Like that's how we kind of like police our own. So guys would be like, hey guys, I actually sat down with my wife last night and talked about some of the problems I was having inside and it worked out great. People are not going to like, man, I'm fucking stoked to hear that. That's just not the level of emotional intelligence that exists in organizations, probably just period. And honestly, just in life, people, I realize more and more, don't have that opportunity to have that outlet. And so I just kind of like gaffed it off, you know, essential oils, lame. Bro, I love essential oils. You know what an essential oil is? It's fucking plants with a carrier oil. You know what's been healing people from the dawn of time? Plants, not big pharmaceutical, plants. But you tell an egotistical person who doesn't even know they have an ego that, hey, these essential oils can help you. Like, I'm not the snake oil shit, get out of here, right? Breathing ain't gonna work for me. Bitch, it's keeping you alive, isn't it? What else do you think it could do for you? You know, like I was just so cut off to that perspective on things, but not with plant medicine. As soon as I started doing this, even my first journey with mushrooms, I'm like, fuck, I'm open to all that stuff. Walking around barefoot, grounding myself. You know, I used to make fun of those tree huggers. You know, I used to make fun of people with good posture. You know, I'm like, look at those queers. I was a queer. I was the immature one. I was a person that didn't even know I had respect for my body because I didn't know that's what good posture looks like. You know, like just so narrow-minded in my journey, which is tight. I'm stoked. I'm okay with that because I'm not the same person anymore, but that was totally me. And every mushroom trip kind of like started to expose these like different layers of my life. Like I was living a life without me. I'm soulless. I don't love myself. Like all these really dark, not dark, but like really deep things, deeply rooted things. And it was probably like my 5th journey. I was in Tennessee and I truly believe that medicine calls you. What I mean by that is I show up to Tennessee to go visit my friends for like a few months. I'm living in my van, so my wife and I can do anything we want to. It's our home. So I drive up there. As soon as I get there, sure as shit, one of his friends like, hey, I have some mushrooms. Did you want any? And I'm like, yeah. Like I just took it as a sign, you know? To some people that's an addict, but to me it was a sign, you know? So I'm like, I took it as a sign. And when I did mushrooms that night, dude, I'm like, man, I'm going to go see the cosmos again. This would be great. But it was so internal. It was like all these things that I needed to work on with myself. And it kept on telling me like, you're ready for the next level. Like clear as day, you're ready for the next level. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So I tell my wife this because they're out having a campfire as I'm finishing up my journey.
I've never took mushrooms.
Yep.
So is this like have you took mushrooms?
Yes.
I've never took, is this like, where's this voice coming from? How is it like, I guess everybody's it's projected to them differently.
Yep.
How does that work in your mind when you're on these mushrooms?
Same thing. It's that consciousness, right? It's like, to me, I believe I'm connected to God through consciousness, right? Those conscious thoughts, not those like, hey, you suck. Nothing that loves me is ever going to tell me I suck, right? That's my subconscious not wanting me to win. That's my fears, my traumas, my pains, and all the fucking hell I accept for myself. I love you. Start this. Go. That voice is a loving voice. That voice wants to see you win. And so that was a place I was feeling, not coming from myself where I'm like beating myself up or holding myself back. Because do you have conversations in your head?
All the time.
Me too, right? Not everyone does, but most people do, right? So to me, that's conscious. You're tethering between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind's where all your programmings are, all your traumas, all your deeply rooted backs in operating systems, why you do the things that you do. You ever wanted to change something about your life and you really tried, but the whole time you're like, man, fuck, I can't do this.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to work for me. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. You ever said that shit to yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Me too, right? That's not you. That's those limiting beliefs that are trapped inside your subconscious mind for something that has either happened to you or you've been exposed of that you're calling truth, right? People will beat themselves up mentally before they'll ever boost themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people try to boost themselves up, sometimes they don't even fucking believe in it because they've been beating themselves down for so long. So to me, the conscious mind that comes to me through psychedelics, it's the one that's guiding me, telling me to do the hard things, like the things I need to change in my life, but then leave it to me to feel that connected, but then pick and choose what I actually really want to work on, because at the end of the day, all those are hard,
Right.
And so I go back to my wife like, hey, I swear, I said I'm ready for like the next level. I feel like I'm ready for the next level. I'm not really sure what that means. Dude, the next day, I get a phone call from a buddy. He's like, hey, dude, we have an extra seat for this ayahuasca ceremony in Peru. It's like next week. Do you want to come? And I'm like,
that's funny. Dude, that was the one psychedelic I had on my list that I wanted to ask you about, because that's the more widely heard or known of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've already done it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm like, oh no, I can't. Because I have scarcity. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to heal myself. I'm scared to leave home, right? I'm so dependent on like my security blanket of hell that leaving it was so uncomfortable. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, we don't have the money. She's like, dude, we'll find the money. I'm like, fuck, she's so brave, and because I'm only where I'm at today because my wife has just been there for me and like honestly held me accountable and told me, always gave me the bluff, no fluff. And just being able to be so appreciative. And now, dude, I'm just so fucking grateful, dude, that she's like fucking so like much stronger than me. It's so badass. So going to Peru, I went to Peru. I think this was 2020. I went to Peru. I was super scared. It was my first time to leave the country by myself as a civilian. And one of my layovers, it was like a 12-hour layover. And I was, dude, I couldn't even walk into a fucking bar, a Walmart, any store without people. Dude, I was always in the red, dude. Like, I didn't want to be, but I was constantly like over my shoulder. You bump me, I want to kill you. Like, I was still going through that like phase of life, trying to like rid myself of that shit, trying to understand why am I feeling this way and acting this way. And I try to tell people with medicine, dude, medicine starts before you ever ingest medicine. Dude, I had a perfect time at the airport. I was calm and collective. Like, I had a plan. Like, I didn't freak out. Like, I was proud of myself to to do all these things, because about a year and a half prior to this, I couldn't even navigate with a GPS on my phone. I couldn't even walk straight, let alone have a conversation. So where I was at in this phase of my life, like doing these things, like kind of like stepping up for myself and like living, as silly as that may sound, like it was a fucking big deal for me. And so, and then I'm going to a place where I know nobody, right? And so I get to this badass like villa, badass like just beautiful in their world. I would fuck live in it any day of the week. Beautiful view, garden, and I was there for 5 days, and the course of the next 3 days, well, actually in the course of the next like 4 days, because you would do ayahuasca, you would like have a day of reflection, you do it again, like so you're like kind of like giving your body a chance to like process like what you've experienced. But this particular trip, was with Dennis McKenna, who him and his brother Terrence McKenna are super huge into the psychedelic movement. There's some of the forefathers like Paul Stamets that have been messing with LSD or psilocybin for decades to bring light of it and how and what it can do to you and the conscious mind and just kind of humanity as a whole. And so to have Dennis McKenna there, I was like, oh shit, this is a big deal. But I still was like kind of like new to it all. I just knew that I was called to Peru, so I fucking went. And yeah, that was fucking crazy. I feel like my ayahuasca experience was completely different than other people. Like mine was just really dark as in there was no visuals. I didn't ride any fucking alien spacecraft. There was no Mayans or Aztecs talking to me. Like it was just super, just dark. But what it showed me is how to stop all the head movies. You know, like the head reel of like all the little fucking clips in your head. They're just spinning constantly. So it taught me how to like address those and like what they're actually there for. And for most people, it's because it's something to teach us. And so even the worst things that ever happened to us, if we've been a part of in our life, we can learn a lesson from it, right? That's called growth. And I know from my own personal life, all these things were just shit that I was essentially just avoiding conversations with. So I'm like, why are you showing yourself to me? And then I was able to understand it, gather what I need to, and like just kind of free up that space. And then
so it was dark shit leaving your body.
I wouldn't say it's dark shit leaving my body. It was just things, right? Like unidentified. There was nothing specific. There was no war related. I thought I was going to have like a bunch of like war shit. Nothing like this happened. Even none of my psilocybin trips have ever had like any like war experience, like flashbacks or anything like that. But for me, you know, the saying goes like plant medicine doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need. So I might be going down there. I'm like, man, I want to heal my childhood trauma. And it's going to tell me to fucking work on like my self-love or, you know, whatever I needed at the time. Because if we always knew what was best for us, what we needed to do, we would, in theory, fucking do it. But generally what keeps us from that is the belief to actually go do it. And so plant medicine has that ability to not lie to you, but to help you cleanse yourself of all these like just bullshit excuses that you feed yourself. You know, if you're not happy today and I said, bro, just be fucking happy. We're like, why the fuck is this guy not happy? To us, it's simple. Dude, just, you're being a dick. Be happy. But to you, it's the hardest fucking thing to be like, you're right, I have been. I'm sorry, guys.
Or you say that, what do I have to be happy about?
Yeah,
You know,
just these small things, dude. When you talk to yourself silently, good or bad, your body hears it. If you don't believe in yourself and you walk into a fucking room, do you think motherfuckers are believing in you? No, but because we have this thing called fear in leadership positions and authority positions, that's how we think that we're actually moving the needle forward. We're moving the needle forward with like fucking an iron fist at times, vice the example. And so it's really fucking crazy. And so it helped me understand that, like, one, to process these head movies, and two, to plant myself. I need to grow myself before I can actually, I need to plant myself before I can actually grow. So I want to be happy, but I need to start working on all the things that are the root of it all, right? That's where all these things originated from. And that's really where my journey began, was with Peru. That kind of like taught me the bigger picture of like what I may have ahead of me, which is a fucking never ending journey to become the best version of myself. And more importantly, maintain my peace, right? That doesn't mean I don't have battles that I must face in life, but it's that the battles that I will encounter are the ones that are fucking important to me. Vice previously, everything pisses me off. You know, it's like, it's not worth my energy. So being able to take back that fucking power, you know, protect my peace, protect myself, my self-worth, that's important. But I didn't have any of those things for myself back in the day. And those weren't the conversations that the plant medicine was having with me either back then. It was leading me on this journey. And so before we left, and so it was like super good, but it was super transformative to other people, and it was super transformative to me, just different. Yes, you throw up a lot. You can throw up a lot. I know a couple of the females didn't throw up, but like I definitely purged a lot, and purging is a good thing. It's like, oh man, my stomach's upset. Well, don't you feel better if you go to the bathroom? Of course you do. Well, it's because your body knows. And so all the things, that tension, that stress, that trauma, even some of that shame food that we eat, that's just bad for like our operating system. Like you can just purge all these types of things. So I definitely got my fair share of purging in, where I didn't want to throw up ever again, but that's a small price to pay. Like you don't go to this thing, oh, I hope it doesn't hurt. Really? I'm going to fucking war. I hope I do my job. Hope I'm fucking brave. I hope I don't let anyone down. You know what I'm saying? I hope I fucking believe in myself. Like, that's how I'm thinking about going to war. I'm not like, oh, fuck, this is going to be hard. Like, duh, that's a given, you know? But why are we here?
Are there any of the psychedelics that you take regularly other than these kind of dedicated visits or journeys that you go on each one? Is there something regularly every day that you take?
Not every day. I was microdosing psilocybin for a few years. And every now and then I'll do it, but not as often because I switched to I found a product that actually helps me with my brain function. Because I realized when I was taking these microdoses, I was feeling better. I was feeling a bit more clear-headed. But at that time, I'm like, well, why? Why am I feeling better? And like, what's this doing to my body differently? And that's when I found out that how inflammation affects my body, how it affects my brain gut health, my brain health. And so that's when I switched to this supplement called TriNeuroSups, which was created by a neurosurgeon. So the guys actually worked on necks and brains. This product can help with Alzheimer's, dementia.
What is it exactly? Do you know?
So basically I couldn't tell you every formula ingredient, but it's like all these natural reoccurring formulas that exist out there, like ingredients, to include anti-inflammation. So like why I like it most is, hey, it makes me feel clear-headed, but it also helps to help combat the inflammation that may be getting exposed to my brain. And, you know, I don't care how much you detox or purified water you consume or healthy organic food you eat. As soon as you step away from your fire base, you're in fucking the world, dude. And that thing is trying to kill you 24/7. Life is a sleeping agent, and everything we're exposed to influences our bodies, good or bad. And, so it helps me maintain that fucking edge. But yeah, I was microdosing, acid for a bit also in my early stages. That helped out a lot. And all these different psychedelics they gave me like different effects, or they influenced me differently. Nothing ever negative, everything always positive, everything always led to growth. Everything always led to like, I need to continue to better myself, still searching for this thing. And so, Peru was my first big only out of country experience. That's like the pinnacle, right? Ayahuasca. That's like the special operations of plant medicine that you hear. And, so I came back with that knowledge. Over about a year, I started to still see a lot of effects and differences in my life, but I kept on feeling like fucking incomplete, lost. Well, no shit. So I had this experience to go to Mexico 2 years ago to do ibogaine and 5-MeO-DMT through this company called Ambio Life Science. And they're a civilian organization, civilian entity, but they also have veteran programs and they have female-only programs. They have detox-specific programs, right? So there's celebrities that go there. There's fucking Timmy's cousin, who's an opioid addict, goes there, right? Like, they use ibogaine a lot in I'm going to say Western medicine, but like in this realm of the world for addicts, because it detoxes you, cleans you up. I was there with an alcoholic dude as a ranger, just a total stud, badass alcoholic to a T. I like didn't even know like you could. I thought stories like this were fake, and just hearing and he's a beautiful storyteller, but hearing him talk about all this stuff. The dude, after we did ibogaine, he's like, dude, I don't even have the desire to even want to taste that anymore. Like, I don't even feel the need for it. And, you know, hasn't been drinking. Like, that's sick. That's powerful, bro.
Is all this going down in Mexico because it's not legal here?
Yeah, correct. It's not legal. Apparently, RFK has talked about legalizing ibogaine in the States, which would obviously be super huge. A lot of people are kind of like turned off of like going to Mexico, but when I say go to Mexico, my journey started with this. You submit your package, you get approved, you pay your fee, or a nonprofit sponsors you to go, and you fly to San Diego, and you get picked up at a hotel, really nice hotel, and they pick you up and they drive you across the border. They take you to a gated, 5-star accommodation mansion, a gated community, and you have top-notch shelves, medical professionals there. Like, it is a professional operation. Like, you're hooked up to a heart rate monitor the whole time. You have an IV port the whole time. Like, they're just constantly pumping you through fluids. Then they're helping you reset your central nervous system from making it as calming and peaceful as possible, because it's all part of the experience.
And the diet and everything goes along with that. I mean,
yep. So like, I'm not on any medications, but if you are on medication, like they tell you like get off for like 2 weeks. They have their own rules. So I don't want to like bastardize any of their stuff, but you basically can't be on certain SSRIs or any going through the program.
What is that?
SSRIs
Statins.
Your depression, anti-anxiety medicine, depression medicine, Adderalls, uppers, basically any type of like a narcotic drug, that alters your state. And then they tell you obviously don't drink booze for like a week. They can tell like the cleaner you go in there with your diet, the better you're going to experience. But if you weren't to do that, when you get there, everything is designed like you're eating like the best food ever. It's super clean. It's super healthy. And then there's like fasting involved. There's juices and soups. Like everything is designed to get you prepared for what you're about to do. And the whole thing is about letting go. So the less stress they can put onto you, the more relaxed you're going to be. So we do like a sweat lodge. So you travel to the sweat lodge and everything's just super safe and secure. Like there's nothing to fucking fear. Cause I know that was a fear prior. Like, dude, Mexico, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I don't have to go anywhere in Mexico, bitch. You don't have to. You just go to San Diego. Like they take care of the rest. And it's always the fear of the unknown,
Oh yeah.
And so you do like a sweat lodge and like, bros, I'm in this sweat lodge. I'm already I'm like fucking crying already. I could just feel like these emotions. I'm finding this place that like just releases like tension in my body. And so you're doing like these like sweat lodge rounds. So you're like in a big like pizza oven and you're sweating your balls off. And it's great, dude. It's like, you just kind of like do these like old ancient practices. So they sing a couple like chants and songs. There's drums beating in there and it's just dark, it's pitch black. You're essentially in the womb of Mother Earth. This is where you're safe. This is where you came from. And so there could be a lot of tension and emotion. Like I said, I just fucking start crying in there and I'm okay with that. But that's no medicine that can bring it out of you. Just being in that presence. And the really cool thing is none of this like, oh, we really feel for you. I'm so sorry it's none of that pity shit. It's like, yo, we all got fucking problems, bro. That's why we're here. It takes courage to face yourself, So like that just changes the whole mindset also. I was there with a SEAL Team 6 guy, an NSA analyst, a civilian Canadian, a former Ranger guy, a former Marine, and myself. And like, there's no comparison. You're just like, bro, we're fucking here to fucking feel and do whatever we got to do. And so my first experience to Mexico was super great. So Ibogaine can last anywhere between like 12 to 36 hours. And it's a derivative of a root. So it's this iboga root, iboga plant. It's found in Africa. And so they process that and they put it in capsule form because everyone's dosed to like their body weight, their kilograms. And so and everyone takes it at the same time. So we're kind of like going the journey at the same time. But it can last anywhere between 12 to 36 hours, probably a good 12 hours of like conscious, like, holy shit. Like some guys report to have like experiences and scenes and flashbacks.
Psychedelics?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the flash. But this one is like, you feel like shit. Like this one, like you feel like super nauseous. Like if you were to move around a lot, you're going to throw up. You just feel like poop, dude. Your body's so taxed. Your brain's so fucking taxed. It makes you super tired. And when you're doing Ibogaine, you're supposed to be prepared to like ask yourself questions or whatever's presenting itself to you. Like, why are you showing me this? Or what do I have to, what are you wanting me to see? Or what do I need to see from this? Right.
You're asking yourself that.
Yeah. You're asking yourself this. So you go in there kind of setting intentions. Like for me, I went to Mexico my first time because I was lost. I was struggling and I fucking like hated myself. Like, but I didn't realize how bad I hated myself. And so my experience was kind of similar to my ayahuasca. It was pretty dark. Like I had no visuals. So I'm like, well, fuck, is this working? Am I not good enough? Like, am I fucked up? And so that was kind of hard to kind of like understand, but I'm down for like 36 hours. I took double dose because it wasn't kicking in for me. And so like the prolonging of like the suffering. So the day after, so about 8 o'clock in the morning, the following morning, you start about 9:30, 8:30 at nighttime, probably kicks in around 10 and it's like you're going the roller coaster. And around 8 o'clock in the morning, the next morning, they come into the room that everyone's in and they give you IVs. And then if you want to, they'll walk you back to your bed.
You're all in there together.
Yep, you're all in there together. So basically how it's all set up is everyone's got their own like mattress, and how Ibogaine works is it likes to interact with a rattler, like a musician device, like like a maraca. right? Or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck that thing's called.
Yeah.
And then it likes to interact with the mirror. And so when you start this, after you take all your dosages, you have a blindfold and you kind of just sit in front of this mirror and you like shake your rattler as they're playing like all this like tribal music and music that the medicine likes. Because so basically, my understanding, if I hear it correctly, when Ibogaine was like discovered or whatever, like the tribesmen, they were told to make this musical device. And so they made this thing and they make like Ibogaine music with it. It's like, wow, it's like super trippy, but it like, bro, that shit, like the music loves that stuff, dude. It like just hits you with these waves. You're like, oh shit, like it intensifies, it changes it. And
You're blindfolded right now.
You have the blindfold accessible. So basically when you're ready, you can just lie down when you want to, and then you put your blindfold on. And some people report that they can experience their journey with their eyes closed, fucking their eyes open. I mean, you can even go to sleep and get benefit from it.
Like the conscious level, can you talk to these other people or do you even want to? Or
you could be mad deep in like some type of crazy ass experience in your life, and I could tap your shoulder and ask you if you need some water, and you could be like, no, I'm good, thank you. Put your blindfold back on and go right back into what you're doing.
Crazy.
So if you needed to go to the bathroom, you can literally be tripping crazy balls, having the worst experience, best experience, whatever. Raise your hand, be like, I need to go to the bathroom. Pull up your mask, wobble to the bathroom, hope you don't throw up everywhere. You know, by this time we're already kind of like empty. So you're just kind of really just dry heaving, and go back to the mat after you go to the bathroom.
So you have a mat and a bucket.
You have a mat and a bucket next to your little bedroll, and then you're hooked up to the heart monitor the whole time. So like, and there's a sitter in there. Like so how energy works to me is like, if we were able to have a conversation all together about something deep in our life, we would all leave with benefit, whether we gave or received, because we're just matching our energy. We're changing the frequency from our bodies. So if we all came to this room to have a great conversation today, and that was our mindset coming in here, we're going to have a pretty fucking good day, you know? But if y'all two did and I didn't, or you're by yourself and you don't know if you're strong enough for that energy around you, right? It's just, we're the more we're together, the faster and further we move as one. And so all these large healing ceremonies, you know, you're doing it yourself. You just, other people are holding space with you, and it makes you feel seen and safe and protected, even though you might not think it at the time. Like, for instance, one of the guys is like, he was throwing up and like saying, no, no, no. And my whole time, like cheering for him, like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, fuck yeah, let's go. But he's like, he takes off his blindfold. He's like, hey, talking to the guy next to him. He's like, hey, I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, why'd you tell me to shut the fuck up? I'm sorry. I'm going through something, man. And he's like, what? So like the guy had, this guy was just making shit up in his head. Like it was never happening. Yeah. So, you know, because everyone's there to grow, be better fucking whoever they are and trying to be. So my first Ibogaine experience was super dark, super long, pretty painful, but they call it the gray day. So you're not doing anything but kind of like, you're just so spent. You're tired as fuck. Your body's so tired. And your central nervous system is constantly like just shocked. So you're kind of like twitching the whole time, just kind of miserable. Like you got a fever or something without the fever. The day after that though, do you feel like $1 million? Like your body doesn't hurt. Like you have a clear mind. It's fucking sick, right? It's like you feel amazing, like recharged, but you just have to go through that gray day where you feel like poop. And then that day, the final day, the day before the last, so like a Thursday, you do 5-MeO DMT, which is bufo or the toad. So it's secrements from the toad that's scraped off, dried out, and that's smoked, and you inhale the vapor. And they call that also the God molecule, because people report to see their creator on this particular 5-MeO DMT experience. Not to be confused with DMT, which is released through psilocybin. We release it when we die. It's already inside of us, which can give you all sorts of crazy different experiences, but nothing like 5-MeO in my experience. And I left that the whole experience is about just letting go. And how they coached me the first time 2 years ago was like, hey, if you feel like you need to die, die. If you feel like you need to melt, melt. If you feel like you need to explode, explode. And how many times we ever told ourselves we're fucking relaxed. Oh no, I'm chill, babe. We're good. But you're like beating up 12 people in your head, or you're stressing out about money, or you're fucking not chill, bro. You're not even present. You're just on the racetrack in the mind. And so you have to let all these things down, especially your body. Like, dude, I remember the first time I ever like smoked weed when I got out, like my head dropped 4 inches on my pillow. I was like, holy shit, dude, I've been so tense this whole time thinking I'm jacked. No, my traps were just up to my ears because my body was in such fucking shock. And so being afforded the opportunity to truly just let go and surrender, dude, it's like the most powerful feeling I've ever experienced in my life. It's so peaceful and it's so fucking freeing. Now, it's not easy, but nothing worth anything is easy, but it's also completely doable. It's like opening a door and just seeing like the scariest shit, which is yourself and who you could have been, but like not being too scared to like not looking away, just accepting it and being proud of yourself, right? Just being like, yes, vice, no, and continuously resisting. And so yeah, I truly feel like I reinforced like what faith is to me, like what belief is to me through my 5-MeO experience my first time. I've never felt more loved in my life. I've never felt more fucking powerful. Like I truly felt like connected to what I feel is creation, right? Because we're all in my world, what I believe in, we're all extension of it. But I came back from that experience. A lot of things changed in my life, but I still, I was still having self-sabotaging patterns. I was still holding myself back. I would still do a lot of things and I was like getting traction in life, maybe getting a little success with it. And I would like fucking sabotage it by stopping it or coming up with excuses. I was still dealing with these fucking beliefs. And the next year after this, right? So 2 years ago, did I begin the first time. Last year, I went to the brain clinic in Texas. It's called Resiliency Brain Health Clinic. They service anyone with a brain. I went down there through a nonprofit called Defenders of Freedom. They sponsored me to go be a participant there. It's a 2-week inpatient. And that whole thing changed my fucking life. When I went down there, I'm like, man, I've just been lazy for like 10 years, dude. I feel like I'm completely undisciplined. They're like, bro, you're not lazy. Your brain just wasn't working. And so what I realized is my frontal cortex was not activated, which is your executive function. It's also your memory bank. And so they're doing like eye therapy with popsicle sticks. And I just had this like fucking crazy flashback of like being on night vision and like a ramp on a helicopter going down. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I just started crying. I'm like, dude, why the fuck am I crying? I just had a flashback. She's like, yeah, because your brain wasn't working. So when you do rapid eye movement, you stimulate blood flow to your frontal lobe, which gets the motherfucker to work. So plus all the other things we're doing there to like refire like the neural pathways in my brain through a machine device called TMS, or resetting my baseline with various, VR applications, virtual reality applications, balance tests and things, right? Like I saw this significant change in my life. So the past year, I just been, even up till we met, man, I feel like I've been doing so much better. So much more has happened in my life, but even heavier, the resistance. Fuck, I really can't change. I can't break these old patterns. Like I still feel like fucking like a piece of shit. And I got a phone call a few months back from one of the founders of Ambio Life. His name's Trevor. And he's like, hey dude, do you want to come out again? And I'm like, fuck dude, that's like a sign from God, bro. Like, I've been open to that path this whole time. Why would I do it now? I mean, I did the same thing with jujitsu. I was like 2 weeks in jujitsu. I don't know anything, clearly. I was that guy like, I'll just shoot you. Then I realized what will happen in civil court, if you, God forbid, you're ever caught in some type of situation like that. I'm like, no, I need other skills that aren't going straight to fucking lethal. So I get into jiu-jitsu. I don't know shit. It's like week 2 there. And I see on the wall this like tournament in like 2 weeks. And it scared me when I saw it. It says sign up, and it scared the fuck out of me. I'm like, fuck, I need to go sign up for this thing. I noticed it. Why did I notice it? Not only why did I notice it, why am I still talking about it? Why does this scare me so much? And so like, I've always been doing those things in my life. Like, man, that thing terrifies me. I need to go do it. Not because I'm like, I don't give a fuck, because I'm like, it's been proven that the more positions I put myself in that are like that, the more payoff I get, right? The more I'm supposed to be here. When I'm looking, how many times you ever like, I need a sign, bitch, there's plenty of signs. It's just, you have the fucking nuts to make the decision to go there. That's really what it comes down in my world. And so obviously I did that, but with the iBegan the second time, which I just got back from.
How'd you do?
Oh, I won my competition. It was a no-gi. It was 2 wrongs trying to make it right. This guy was a newbie. I was a newbie, just white belts, slick white belts.
2 wrongs trying to make it right.
Yeah, it was, I didn't know anything back then. So now I'm like 4 weeks into jiu-jitsu. I missed that feeling of being scared.
Yeah.
and like performing. And so when I walked into this gymnasium and I got that feeling of fuck, all these eyes are here, dude. Like, I'm gonna rip this motherfucker's head off. Like, I went back to that place. Like, why wouldn't I want to see myself win? And winning to me wasn't necessarily my hands getting held up at the end of the match. Winning to me is like, I'm going there, I'm focused, I'm not scared, I don't hesitate, and I don't stay comfortable. I fucking go for it, right? Like, that's why I'm here, to push myself. And so that was a really amazing experience. So this time I get called like, hey, do you want to come back and do it again? I'm like, yeah, sounds great. So
now this is just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is like 2 months ago. I got the phone call being like, hey, you want to come back out here, get you scheduled. And so like I get scheduled and I'm like, fuck, man. Like, so my body knows what I'm about to go do to it. So it is putting up a fight of its life. My visions for growth and making money, they're gone. I have none of them. I have no visions for what I want to do with my life again. Like, it felt so blank. And I'm like, you know what, dude, you've been here before. Let's focus on the basics. And my basics is always my foundation, which is my family, my home life. My home life wasn't even the fucking best. Even though I was making like significant like headway on it, it wasn't where I know it needs to be, because I want it there, because I'm not showing up. And I found all this resistance I was encountering. I'm like, you know, fuck it, I just leaned into it. I like stop doing shit. I focus on just like getting my foundation done. And like, this is all part of the process. Like, this is all about surrendering, because clearly I haven't done that. I'm always trying to force my outcomes. I'm always trying to like make shit together, but then I always end up back to the same place, you know? And so but I knew that season was going to just suck mad balls. So I get out there, and my journey for this last Ibogaine trip started right before I even made it to Mexico, man. I get on the plane, I fly out of Spokane, and I'm sitting right next to a lady. She's got a fucking mask on. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? It was like, and then I pivoted. I'm like, what's your name? You know, we just started talking, have a conversation, and find out that she was just getting sick, and she didn't want to be rude and get anyone else sick. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. But like, old me, like a week ago me would have been like, man, the fuck, man, I gotta sit next to this fucking shit. Like, oh my God. Like, my mind just would have gone there, because that's what I'm capable of doing. And I was like so stoked to myself, because my intentions for going down to Mexico this time was I wanted to experience love, and I want to be more grateful in life. I knew I lacked with gratitude, and I knew that I did not know how to accept love. I didn't know how to do those things. Like, out of all these years of working on myself, it came down to those last two things, at least in this current phase of my life. I didn't love myself. I didn't know how to accept love. And I lacked truly being grateful in my life. And so my gratitude journey started before I even got there, dude. Mm-hmm. You know, and then I'm there with this amazing group of guys. We do our Ibogaine, and they're all tripping balls, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude, hell yeah, let it go, brother. Like, I'm saying it in my head, you know, but I'm like just genuinely stoked for them. Where my first trip to Mexico, everyone's tripping balls. I'm like, fuck, dude, am I not good enough? Is this not gonna work for me? Like, I was only really worried about me, rightfully so. But
did you double dose it again?
I did not. I did not double dose it this time. So apparently, if you do Ibogaine once, like, you're kind of more sensitive to it the next time. And I was definitely more sensitive to it this next time. Not like I had any like psychedelic, like visual experience, but I felt the onset of like the uneasy stomach, the desire to want to lay down. Dude, the first time I'm like shaking my rattler at the fucking mirror for like 2 hours. And the guy comes up, he's like, hey, we're going to take this from you now, because everyone else is already laid out. I'm just like, please work. You know, I'm like, am I not putting enough effort into my shit? Like, I was just so desperate for transformation, because I didn't want to let my family down. That was definitely my first trip. This one, man, it was really intense. It was just full of a lot of gratitude. I don't remember anything too much specific thing during my trip. But I do know that my body feels better. I know that whatever needed to happen, whatever I needed to receive from it, I have received it, and I will have it enter my life in due time whenever it's supposed to, right? I'm open to that now. And so I knew with Ibogaine that it may or may not be like a hitter for me. I was kind of hoping that now that my brain's working better, I'm going to be able to like face my childhood trauma. I'm going to be able to face my military shit. And honestly, reflecting on the whole experience, I didn't see none of that stuff. And what I kind of
Do other people report, like you kept talking about not seeing visuals? Does everybody else kind of report visuals?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. it's a small percentage. I forget what percentage they say that don't see things, have those visual experiences, but that doesn't mean the medicine's not working. And so the cool thing with Ibogaine though is not only is it helping you like maybe emotionally and spiritually, but it's fucking helping you cognitively. It's scientifically proven to reverse traumatic brain injury damage. It influences the gray matter in your brain. You have like pain points in your body, it works in those things. It's fucking crazy. And it's going to be doing that for like the next like 3 to 4 months. Not including about the year from now that I'll still be receiving benefits from Ibogaine. And really a lot of the physical benefits from Ibogaine is like not wanting to do an addiction anymore. Like you have no desire for it. It's like you know it exists, but you haven't tasted it yet. So you don't even know that you like it. Does that make sense? It's kind of resetting your like palette of poor choices. And so I was really stoked on that. But the 5-MeO experience, like that one, I'm like, the 5-MeO DMT experience, like that one, I'm like, man, I'm excited for it because I'm like, man, this would be fucking scary as shit. But like, I know how I felt last time. I'm really excited to go experience that feeling again. And dude, I remember just like, they'll give you up to like 2 hits on it. And you do it by like basically priming your diaphragm, your breath. So like you'll do a couple of breathing sessions to like make sure you're kind of calm and relaxed because you have really no idea what you're about to expect. And even if you do it before, like I have no idea what I'm there to expect or what I'm going to receive, right? I have no expectations, only just intentions. And then you like inhale for like 10 seconds, hold your breath, and then you like kind of like blow it out as you're falling back onto your pillow and you go into that space, wherever that space is for you. And I remember the desire to want to just dissolve and melt away. I saw these like triangles and squares, like 3D prism, just kind of like converging on itself. And the want to just die. Like, I know I'm here to die. I must die to grow new skin. I must let go of me, the old me, to bring in the new me, right? Like I'm at this phase. I'm totally cool with it. And I just wasn't quite there. And I'm like, I just want to fucking cry. Like I just wanted to, but I couldn't fucking do it. Like it just wasn't coming out. Like I wanted to make it all happen. So I gave the signal to take another hit. And that one, did exactly what it needed to do. I fucking like blast off into the space where it is just a series of just fading away. And dude, it is the most freeing feeling I've ever experienced in my fucking life, dude. It is the most blissful, beautiful experience I have ever encountered. And I've got to experience it twice now. First time in Mexico, this time in Mexico, both on 5-MeO DMT. And there's nothing to be scared of. And I remember like, I'm like crying now and I'm just saying like, I'm like trying to really like go still inside my mind and my heart. And I'm just kept on vocalizing like, I am you. And then I transitioned to like, I love you. Cause I realized how fucking much I hated myself. I never really realized how much I hated myself. I never realized how unworthy I felt with love, recognition, success. I felt unworthy of these things my entire life. And I never realized how much lack of gratitude I had. Well, it makes sense that I have any gratitude because I didn't even know what fucking love was. I didn't value anything. I didn't appreciate anything. I sure as fuck didn't appreciate or value myself. And I left that experience reminded, dude, that like I'm an extension of my creator. I'm an extension of it. I am fucking loved. I'm powerful as fuck. I am absolutely limitless. And I have to protect that feeling. I have to protect those things. And so the really cool thing about this program is you're learning those things the whole time you're there. You're learning how to do breath work. You're learning how to do meditation. Like they're showing you this shit. They're showing you basic yoga movements, right? Just stretching, moving your body, relaxing your mind, like all these things to protect that feeling of like, fuck yeah. You ever had that feeling where you're just on a roll and you're just crushing shit?
Definitely. How
much do you protect that? Or how much of that do you write it out because you haven't realized how fucking priceless it is? That doesn't make anyone a turd. It just makes us unaware of our fucking capability or our potential. And so to me, what I've gathered from this past 7 years of betting on myself, investing in myself is like life, to me, the point of life is remembering. Like if you fucking really knew you were like the physical manifestation from creation, if you really looked at the whole Tony Spark, like the Transformers All Spark, and realized that you were connected to that's how you exist. If you really are open to the fact that you're a soul having a physical fucking human experience.
Hi, I'm Brent Jarbo, CEO of ADG. For the past decade, we've been dedicated to crafting the highest quality, 100% American-made rifle brass to meet all your hunting and long-range shooting needs. This year, we're excited to introduce our new 6.8 Western and 270 WSM cases. With over 250 years of combined industry experience, we're committed to excellence. Look for our distinct orange boxes wherever you buy your reloading supplies. Whenever you need quality rifle cartridge cases, choose ADG Premium Rifle Brass, where precision meets performance.
Right? Like, you can do fucking anything with your life. But when you think that you're a victim, when you think that you're unworthy, when you think that you're just fucking human, that no one cares, that the odds are against you, you know exactly what kind of life you're going to have. That's called hell. And so being able to be able to experience that feeling again, but more importantly, like, I fucking deserve success, happiness, love, fucking abundance. I deserve all these fucking things. And I never could say that about myself a fucking week ago. And how, you know, some people are like, that's great, you love yourself, but what does that mean? What that means is, like, now I understand what it means to my wife when I've asked her before, I'm like, hey, do I make a safe environment for you? And she tells me no. You know, I don't always feel safe, and this is why. You know, I'm able to understand what those conversations actually fucking mean and, like, be present for her and understand those things, like, you know, doing what you say you're gonna do, you know, being in control of the fucking things, you know, like, just being you, being the man of your word. And I'm like, holy shit, those are all things I can control. But when I look about why I never controlled them before, because I kept on, like, pulling out debt, borrowing against my own debt, you know, like my empty reservoir inside. So I kept on going in this hole, be like, oh no, I'm going to do, you ever done the thing where, like, oh, I'm going to do these 10 things today? You ever done that shit? Everyone fucking done that. How many times you done 10 things? Fucking zero. Sometimes you don't even get to one of those because you got distracted with another one or something else pressing came up. I don't know about you, but that shit beats me up inside. I used to beat myself up inside, dude, you're a piece of shit. Like, you're letting yourself down, you let your family down. And, like, bro, tell me how you're going to feel in a conversation on the couch when you're reconnecting with your significant other. You're not going to be there. You're going to be fucking in your head. And to be able to come back home and know I have a completely fresh outlook on my life, and, you know, how am I going to protect that by not doing the things I don't want to do? Fucking don't associate with people I don't want to associate with. I didn't realize how passive aggressive I was. Like, truly passive aggressive. I would say yes to shit that I really didn't want to fucking do. You know? Or I wanted to make changes for something, and I accepted the change not to be made. And I realized how fucking passive that is, dude. Like, I don't want to be around that motherfucker. But I'm so strong in other areas. Those parts never held me back into, like, my crowd of people that I associate or call as friends. But to me, it always did. And now it all makes sense. But I never had the mindset to really see that. Even though I've known those things, I couldn't believe any of them because I hated me so much to want better for me. So it was super transformative, super powerful. And, you know, I don't know where I'd be without those opportunities.
Do you know what a trip like that costs for the public?
Yep. For the experience that I had, getting picked up from San Diego, all your accommodations taken care of, and getting dropped back off at the airport, it's about $6,700, I believe. And that's for civilians. For anybody, there are a few nonprofits that sponsor veterans. Like, there's one called Vet Solutions, I believe, or Vets, VETS, Veterans Exploring Treatment through Psychedelics. I don't fucking remember exactly what this stands for, but it was started by Amber Marcus Capone. He was a SEAL Team 6 guy, started this nonprofit, and they send special operations veterans down to Mexico. But like I said, I had a civilian in my little powwow circle. So, and he was from Canada. I mean, people are coming all around the United States and the world to like go to this facility, but to have this experience, because it is life altering. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's a crazy story.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many vets that need help. And I don't say that lightly because I don't like the welfare cards that vets use a lot. Like nobody was there when you signed the dotted line. Nobody was there forcing me to sign the dotted line. But a lot of vets get out and all they're looking at is for a discount on the welfare side. But there is also the vets that actually need the help that don't get the help because there's so many, I wouldn't say they're not bad people. They're just, some of the people didn't see what some of the people saw, and some of the people don't have the issues, and the people that are talking the loudest need the help the least. A lot of times.
I mean, I used to look at it that way, but what changed my perspective on that whole outlook, because I remember, so in MARSOC, teams had priority for shit. Mm-hmm. And when the team guys didn't get priority, like there was a problem. Meaning like we had priority for like the physical therapy, the acupuncture, the stretching, the performance coaching, whatever. Like we had priority to that stuff. And I remember I couldn't get in for like another week because like some support guys were going to it. And I was like so butthurt, so fucking butthurt. And these guys just checked into our unit and they're fucking using this program. I'm like, fuck them. I've been in this organization for 6 years now, and I'm actually just trying to use it for the first time. And so that was kind of my mindset. But then when I was going through all my medical shit, here I am, I'm a fucking E8. I'm senior as fuck. I'm heavily decorated. I'm heavily respected in my organization. I never fucked anyone over. And I've never like bitched out on anything. And I'm asking for help and I'm getting so much fucking pushback. And people are like, oh, is it really that fucking bad? I'm like, bitch, do you think I would be making such a fucking stink if it wasn't? None of you bitches are listening. That's why I'm being louder and louder. I'm desperate and begging for fucking help. And you think I'm fucking nuts. You think I'm fucking crazy. Well, I was so vocal about what I was going through because of all these stigmas. Like I also had a top secret clearance. Well, guess what? I got to renew that bitch while I was on a medical board, while I was taking Adderall, while I was talking to a shrink, so all these, I was able to disprove all these like C stories of like, oh, you talking to them about this, you're fucked. Like, no, it's not the fucking case. It's not the case. And I spoke at this traumatic brain injury symposium while I was still active duty. And when I stood up there, what I said was the issue to me. It was like, I'm a fucking E8 and I'm getting pushed back for getting help. How do you think these like fucking E4s and E5 support people that are checking into MARSOC finally being seen as like an asset, right? Finally have access to actual programs to help them fucking better their mind, body, and their fucking spirit. And they don't get fucking help. How do you think they feel? And I'm fighting for my shit. I'm telling people to go fuck off. And I'm fucking using my rank. And I'm using my voice. What do you think an E3 is going to do? An 18-year-old kid, they're not going to do nothing. Does that mean they've never been raped or have traumatic shit or have crazy stuff? Like, I got past that whole like barrier thing. The biggest problem with veterans is they're just bitches. That's the fucking thing. Yeah. Veterans are bitches because they were handed fucking everything in their life and they get out with a chip on their shoulder. And veterans will bitch about how they don't get help, but they are still fucking out 100%. Or they still haven't got their VA rating. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, on the flip side, what I'm bitching about the most, I know 3 dudes, 100% retired, disabled, working full-time manual labor jobs. They're fucking the system.
I'm 100% fucking permanent and total, and I fucking run 2 businesses.
Yeah, but are you out there fucking doing lifting jobs and you're mowing lawn? I mean, you can't, there's people that need it, that actually absolutely need it.
There has never been someone denied medical benefits because there's too many 100% out there. Never. The reason why
they're cluttering up the line.
There is no line. There's just excuses, right? The reason why veterans feel like they're cluttering up the line because they're going through the institution. What sense does that make? Why would you ever go to a civilian S1 shop? You're fucking dumb. There's so many other programs out there to get your rating, but most guys don't want to do the work. And then they bitch about the VA. Oh, they don't give me the care that I need. Motherfucker, pay out of pocket. Well, I don't have the fucking money. I'm like, bitch, you have $800 a month for fucking booze on the bar. You have fucking $800. Dude, I remember I worked in LA. I had one civilian job as a civilian. I worked in the cannabis industry for 4 months. The first thing I fucking did when I moved to LA was I bought a fucking big ass, I'm 33, 34. I bought a big ass TV. I bought a fucking Xbox. And I'm like, well, fuck, this is sick. I've never lived in a city. I'm gonna be able to skateboard wherever I want to. I can go eat food. And I get to play Xbox on the weekend while I work this fucking job. I found ways to entertain myself with things that weren't really moving me forward. The biggest problem with veterans, they don't see the value of investing themselves. You mention shit to veterans about fucking spending money. They're like, oh, fuck. I'll just go to the VA so you can complain about it, so you can not get the help. I've been telling guys that I'm not affiliated with this company. It's called Vets Guardian, Vets, VETS, Guardian.com. They're a pro bono law service out of Florida. Now, people are like, oh, I've read them. They're fucking, shut the fuck up. I've been giving this to people for 7 years, and I've seen plenty of my friends, and I'm so blessed to have friends that aren't just all special operators. I have a friend that's Air Force, they were deployed. I got dudes in the Marines that were fucking deployed, and they're 100%. The thing is the stigma like, oh, admin guys always fuck the system because they know what to say. No, they're just not stupid. Have you ever patrolled? Have you ever walked with blisters on your feet?
Absolutely.
You're fucking dumb. Have you?
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You think an admin person's going to walk with blisters on the feet? No, because that's not their job requirement. You're built different. We're so built different. We have to become someone different to do those jobs, even if it's just training. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are. That shit's hard. And so when you put yourself in those places, you look at these people like, well, they're gaming the system. No, they're just not robotic like us. You know, when the doctor asked me, are you like, what's your pain level? I'm like, oh, I'm like a fucking 5. Dude, my 5 is like someone's 20. I'm just too dumb to value myself, right? Because military, what happens? You never have to ask for a pay raise, ever. You very rarely do a job interview. You just show up, do good work, do your time, and things come to you.
Good or bad.
Good or bad.
But I still have to disagree that there's a lot of people that, I guess in my opinion, they're in there. They may be fucking entry level separation. They may never even actually made it to a unit and they're getting medical benefits.
I hope so. You know why? Because of this. I have a friend who never graduated Marine Corps boot camp and he's 100% permanent total and on Social Security. Let me tell you why. Because he lost over 100 pounds to join the Marine Corps boot camp, gets to fucking boot camp, gets fucking injured. He's a little bit older. He's about 20 years old at this time, so he's not completely dumb, 17 to 18-year-old kid. And he brings it up to the drill instructor to get looked at. They're like, we're just going to keep on giving you these fucking shots. He's like, no, I need x-rays. Like, this is really fucking bad. It's like black and blue. It's all fucked up.
Kind of thing?
It was something with his knee.
Oh.
And it fucked up everything. It was his whole leg. Like, it was one of the obstacle courses. And they just kept on jamming him with shots. And he's like, I need x-rays. Well, since he's a nobody recruit, he's sure as fuck not getting what he wants. He's getting told what he's going to do. So he cannot keep up in boot camp, right? He's now super fucked up. He's like, just to kind of put the fucked upness, he went under surgery for 3 years for his back and his leg because of what happened to him in boot camp. 3 fucking years. The drill instructor's like, hey, dude, I know you got it. I know you want to do. He's like, but you're not going to be able to do this. Like, he wasn't making the runs, all this shit. So he gets medically separated from the Marine Corps. That motherfucker went back home to his hometown, felt like shit, got shit talked by his friends because he wasn't tough enough, not a man, not a Marine. You know how suicidal that fucking guy was? I tell people this. You signed the fucking contract, the same contract that I did. And if your job was so fucking unworthy of any benefits, they wouldn't have had the job. We can at least attest that the Marine Corps or the military would not create fucking jobs that didn't serve a purpose to their big fucking, the big wheel. And that's what keeps guys from going to get benefits, because you might say people that haven't done shit, but there's a lot of motherfuckers that have done shit that have that mindset that somebody needs it more than them and they will never go do it. And so the thing with veterans, if you don't have your disability rating, how the fuck can you shed light to other veterans? It's our job to take care of each other. And it ain't no one fucking the system. What is fucking the system?
Do they give you a disability rating when you get out, or you're saying you gotta go do that on your own?
So, in the military?
Yeah.
So if you do your checkout properly, if you get a chance and a choice and an option, because honestly, some people do not, you get all this shit documented. So then you submit your file to the VA once you're out, and then about like 30, 60 days after, that's when your claim will start if it gets processed. Like, all my shit was documented because I was on a medical board. So I didn't, but my care planner submitted that whole board package to the VA. So 30 days after I retired, I started already receiving my benefits. Some guys still haven't applied this shit, dude. I was at a hunt. I was at my first elk hunt near Liberty. It was like border Montana. You familiar with this? Liberty,
Idaho?
Montana, Idaho, or Liberty, Idaho. I don't know. It was like fucking 7-8 hours away from here.
Huh.
Anyways, it was a private land cow elk hunt. And my wife and I got to go together. And there was just an old timer there that just loved supporting these like nonprofit events. And he's a fucking Vietnam guy, dude, like crazy stories. You could just see the pain in his eyes. Still doesn't have any VA ratings. Has no VA ratings. Motherfucker didn't even know about it because someone else needed it more than him. That's what this guy said. The only reason why we have VA ratings is because the fucking veteran organization, not the veterans, but the Vietnam veterans, they fought so hard for us to get our stuff. And the GWOT culture is a bunch of pussies that have not accepted who they are in the mirror for whatever reason, because it's trauma bonding in the military. I don't care. It's trauma bonding. If bad shit happens, you trauma bond to make good stuff happen. You push together. You laugh it off. You bury it down deep. You say the fucked up, obscene comments and jokes that we do. Dark ass humor that no one understands about it, and people hear it, they think you're psychotic.
That's a fact.
You know,
I'm still a little jaded, I guess, because I just think there's some people in that system. It's just like the welfare system that are clogging up the wheels.
But here's the deal. This is why I don't care about that. Because if veterans don't get that money, you know what's going to fucking happen? They're going to take that money from us and they're going to fucking money launder it to Ukraine. That's why.
That's also a good way to think about it.
That's why I'm like, bro, milk their fucking money. You sign the same dotted line. That is your shit. Because here's the thing. The impact that we have for ourselves to like influence other veterans in a positive way, that's fucking huge. It's, bro, a VA rating, one, would help people just get the help they need. But two, financially, it could transform their whole entire family's life. And it's fucking money on the table that people are bitching about that they don't have, but they rather that shit go to fucking Ukraine than not even suck it up, but just allow themselves to be seen and taken care of. Did you know that over 70% your family can be afforded a form of TRICARE? You know, there's so many different benefits for these guys and girls out there.
Well, to be honest, like I came out of 101st Airborne. I was in 101st. And I went into this guy and I had a good guy. Like you're saying, he like, what have you done? You've been to medical? What is this? Why is this? Why'd you have this concussion? Why couldn't you see out of your left eye? He like wrote everything up and handed it to him. And I haven't 5 days, they just gave me 30%. I walked out the door. I haven't done anything with it. That's just what I was at.
You're still at 30%?
Yeah.
But my brother, we're going to fix this. So like I said, I'm not affiliated with Vets Guardian, but I've literally sent thousands of fucking veterans to them. And like I said, that's why I gave the spectrum of like my friend who never graduated boot camp to people who've never deployed, because the line never says what the stipulation is to rate these benefits. And if we don't influence what a veteran is, we're always going to have motherfuckers that feel inadequate, and we're never going to fucking change the system. We're still going to be dogging, like Marine Corps, especially Marine Corps military. You talk shit about people. That's what you do. You shit talk. You're just kind of an asshole, right? Dark humor.
They're crayon eaters. I mean, we know the Marine side. They're all from the Army side. You're all crayon.
Yeah, Marines. We are
that low ass fab score. Not really, but that's
crazy. We do like rocks. We like to throw rocks at things. Like us so much they even made MRE specifically for Marines. Use a rock or something to
prop it.
Yeah, to prop
the heater.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I used to have it both ways, but I rather every veteran have their rating. But anyways, back to Vets Guardian. So why I tell people not to go to the VA or not to go to their friend Timmy down the street. Timmy wants to see you win. Timmy will really work hard for you, but Timmy also has a fucking life. And Timmy's livelihood isn't influenced or affected whether you get this shit or not. So Vets Guardian, and there's many more out there. I asked the first sergeant, my old first sergeant friend, when I first retired, because I started getting blown up like, hey, how do I get my VA rating? I reached out to my buddy. He told me that. I've been giving it out ever since, right? That's been my way to just making sure people get what they need and get taken care of. And so how it works is you fill out a form, they contact you, they set up all your appointments, get all your shit for you. There's might be some legwork, but thing is, you're too fucking busy. You don't want to stress yourself out with shit that stresses yourself out. You already got enough stress in your life, right? And so they don't eat unless you get fed. So that's why I tell guys, go to a place that actually requires money, because they're going to work for you because it's a fucking business. Little Timmy at the VFW, he's got a kind heart, but kind hearts have realities they have to live in too. And Vets Guardian, you don't pay anything up front. So I had a friend go from 0 to 100%, because once they submit your packet, so you're at 30%, let's say they submitted your packet today, if it took 6 months to get it back, you get 6 months of all that back pay of whatever your percentage increase is. So that's how they make their money. So I think my friend owed like $6,000 for her to go from 0 to 100%. And so she got like one lump sum of like $8,000 or $10,000, and she needed the lump sum more than paying it all off. So she just went on a payment plan to pay off her $6,000 debt. Or most of my friends just use their lump sum to pay off their debt. And then every month they're receiving their 100% or whatever percentage it is. So that's why I encourage you guys to do that, dude. You deserve 100%. You deserve it, bro.
I don't know.
Does your family, you married?
Oh yeah.
Do they deserve a fucking good life?
Yeah.
Would you stand in the way willingly to keep them from that good life?
No.
Okay, so then why would you stand in the way for yourself? And don't take that as such a personal conversation, but take that as like a way to look at what we keep ourselves from. Because you don't need, plant medicine might not be for everybody, but one thing I learned is like that worthiness of like, dude, you fucking deserve that. You deserve everything. You fucking deserve everything. And how many vets do you meet all the time?
Every day.
You have fucking veterans here. It's the first thing I said when I came here to get that rail on my rifle. I'm like, hey, who's a vet here? Give them this fucking thing, right? That's their fucking job. We can't make them drink the water, but we can plant some seeds like, yo, dog, if you're thirsty, here's a good place. But dude, that would change your life financially. But dude, what the next veteran you meet, oh, I didn't do anything or I don't deserve anything. You get to share your testimony of like, dude, I used to think that way too.
It is interesting because I'm not saying I still don't think that way. I do think the vets a lot of time is a welfare mentality, but it's interesting. I've never thought about, they're going to fucking piss that money away either way.
Mm.
Why not support small businesses?
Fucking me.
Mm-hmm.
Why not support small businesses?
Mm-hmm.
Why not, dude, I donate my money.
Interesting.
If you don't want your fucking money, donate it.
Dude, I do good. I do well. I have my own business. I have business with Jake. We do well. It's like, not like I fucking need.
You do well, but you know what? You are not the fucking, how many thousands of veterans do you think listen to your podcast?
No, I hope
I would
a lot.
imagine a grip of them.
You know, a grip of them, right? And the crazy thing about veterans, let's say a lady on the mast that I saw on the plane as I'm flying to San Diego, her husband, Air Force veteran. I'm like, does he have his percentage? And she's like, oh, I think he's like at 20%. I'm like, what?
Mm.
And I'm like, no, hey, here's this website, fill it out. This is why he needs to do that. And she's like, that's exactly how he feels. Like he didn't do enough or he doesn't deserve it. I'm like, and how is that affecting his life? How does that affect y'all's relationship, right? Like everything comes back down to us. We are the nucleus of everything that we do or fail to do. So if there's something off in our life, it's because we're not fucking doing something right in our life.
Well, I'll agree with you this much. I do deserve more, and I do have brain problems. There's no
Fuck yeah, you do.
question about it.
That's absolutely right.
There's no fucking question. Some days I wake up and you're like, what the fuck, man? I can't remember my name. I think Jake's still fucking ugly, but I think that every day.
Definitely communication issues.
Yeah.
But no, man. I appreciate that back and forth because I hope a lot of people because every side is always valid.
Mm-hmm.
But most sides never get another perspective. And the vet, dude, I love vets so much, dude. There's so many vets are in fucking pain and they really just don't believe themselves. Obviously not across the board, but there's just so many that hold themselves back. Like, I don't give a fuck how successful you are in life, how much money you fucking have, how amazing your family is. If you fucking feel unworthy and hate yourself, dude, you will live in hell to the day you die.
Mm.
One of my visions back in the day was like, I had everything, but I had nothing. I had everything I could ever want for in life, but I still died a lonely life because I fucking hated me. I didn't value me. I didn't see that I was worthy of fucking true love, right? I wasn't worthy of having fucking peace. I wasn't worthy of like overcoming demons. I wasn't worthy of not needing anyone's validation or approval, like who I am and like what I want to do in life. And you guys all know, we all know in this room from personal experience, like, man, when we really let go, when we really say the things we want to say, that's why I love your guys' intro. It's real, But, when you get to be you, say what the fuck you want to say, we can have a conversation like this and we're not trying to like hurt each other's feelings. We're also not pussyfooting around. It feels good to be you and to be free. Now think about that in every other areas of our life, that you may want to work on. And if you're like me, you may not be ready to work on certain areas of your life, but there's always that underlining something that's always in the back of your mind. And that might just be your percentage. That might lead you to changing your diet, changing the doctor you go to, changing the fucking people you hang out with, man. And to me, that's how we help the community out, is like, we got to take care of our shit and then be the light, not be perfect, but be the fucking light. And we can still have our fucking issues, man. But if we don't have our basics done, we can never really help anyone move forward.
It's really like I love podcasts because it's a long format. Because most of this shit is cut out not if it's all played out. Like I disagreed, you disagreed. I think we came to a pretty good conclusion and you brought up shit I've never even thought about with I don't know why, they fucking piss our money away every day.
Yeah, for sure.
So your message needs to get out in the world, and we're hitting 2 hours, which is, we're going to start losing some people on the 2 hours.
Yeah.
side.
How about you said you run a couple businesses? What are those?
Yes.
So my personal brand is called We Defy the Norm. So basically I create these sick ass images and these sick graphics from like my experiences in life, things I go through, things that empower me, things that mean something to me. And what I learned along the way to mean something to other people as well. So I sell graphic design t-shirts, and my other business is called R3 Training Solutions. It's basically online personal defense, self-protection, home defense, family unit training from the basics to ground up. It's really just emphasizing on those principles of the family unit. And that's what I do, man. Then I just always try to be me. You know?
And you're homesteading.
Yeah, I call ourselves vanilla homesteaders. we're very basic. There's a lot of land preparation there's a lot of shit that goes into stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's hard work.
This year we finally got our garden like buttoned up. So we'll be fully operational next year, but the 2 years we've been there, we have not been, just because of no fence, just basic duties. We have bees now. We've had chickens our whole time out here. So that operation's been going. And then we've been adding the element of hunting and harvesting food. So that part's really fun, cool. So our freezers are stocked with elk and deer, and that my wife has acquired, and myself and the other people that we have, like a small community that live on our property. But we're vanilla still. There's no cows yet. But it's enough to keep us freaking busy.
You further north?
Yeah, near like the Sandpoint area.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think hunting is one of the greatest things for a purge or a safety valve that veterans can go into.
Oh yeah.
It's literally my escape from most things, but I haven't tried the whatever.
Bring some mushrooms with you next time.
The toad killer or the whatever you're.
And then you'll realize that it's not an escape.
I shouldn't say escape's a bad word, but it's like my happy place.
You
treat.
Find
yes, very much so.
I've had those same experiences, and dude, I'm so grateful for that. I got introduced to archery a few years ago, and that's what got me into hunting. And man, I've had opportunities to hunt years ago, even when I was active duty, but I was like never into that stuff. Cause I'm like, I live in the bush for training all the time. Like I don't want to do this shit in my time off. And now, dude, I fucking love hunting. And I've decided for myself, coming back and looking at actually what I want in my life and what I don't, I'm really going to prioritize. I really want to get to predator hunting. I'm really going to start prioritizing that for this 2025 calendar and build my schedule based around that shit. I've talked about it for about a year now, and I really want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's
a couple of predators sitting here next to you.
I know. When I saw that, when I came here the first time to get that rail on my rifle, I was like, is that a fucking dog? Is that a wolf? Like, it's not moving. I'm like, it's fucking big. I like wave at it. I'm like, that thing looked real.
He's from right in your neck of the
one
woods
of those
there.
is right from north of Sandpoint.
Yep.
Really?
Oh yeah, trapper.
Dude, I want a wolf headdress so bad, dude.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't found it in me to like go the trap route. I'm sure there's an understanding for that. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I haven't done enough research or education, but like something like I want to hear them fucking howl. Like I want to defend myself.
Oh,
like,
dude.
I want that opportunity to make it as equal as possible,
I saw one of your graphics as a dude fighting a grizzly bear with a knife.
Yeah, no weak shit.
That's fucking hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Stuff.
And the whole basis of that is like no weak shit is to like,
yeah,
dude, it's weak shit to not fucking do the hard things, man. Like at the end of the day, it's like,
yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, it's sick.
Have you ever seen Legends of the Fall?
Legends of, like long. That's with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, at the end he fights a bear with a knife. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, I love it, man.
Any place else? I see you do some public speaking. Is that thing you want to do more of, or is that you're trying to get more out there on that side of it?
I thought I did it first. I mean, I do enjoy public speaking. I think there was a phase where I was kind of desperate because I'm like, maybe that's my calling. I'll just be a public speaker. So I was trying to like force a job out of it, and I didn't really enjoy that. But I love speaking at schools. I've had opportunities to do that to my local community a few times. Spoke to real estate, just leadership teams, companies, corporations, military. Like I enjoy that shit, and really help people kind of navigate their own journey inside their mind. Because one thing I've noticed is it's not doing the scary thing that's the hard thing for you. It's making the decision to actually go do it. And so when you can help people see it from that perspective, they find this like new sense of purpose of like facing and overcoming obstacles in life. And so that's what I really enjoy doing the most. I love seeing people overcome shit, dude, because there was such a period of my life where I just didn't think I could fucking do it, man. So yeah, I public speak, but I don't go out of my way to like market myself with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have you back on after you do some hunting.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
Maybe team up on some kind of hunt for next
team
year.
up on some kind of hunts, especially if you're into predator hunting. We know how to do that, especially on the bear side.
Perfect. That'd be so sick. Yeah. I have
spring bear camp.
Spring bear camp? What is that?
We bait bears and kill them.
Exactly like it sounds.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Well, the thing is they're a predator. You got to be managed.
Yeah.
And God put his dominion over animals to do the managing.
Yeah, I've been on a couple of bear hunts. Nothing. I was just like helping the new hunters doing it. I'm like, that's different. But I've seen like the cute little bears, and I've seen like the big fuck all like.
Problem is you don't know that everybody. I was the only one that said that bear is too small to shoot, and they shot it, and then it was that big.
Yeah.
Too small to shoot.
Most bears are 6 foot.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say most bears. Most bears are 5 foot. But that bear's still killing calves and fawns. So we're also helping elk and deer by taking out predators.
Whether it be black bear or wolves, it's the same idea. Kind of predator management to protect the.
Right.
Yeah. You cut that belly open during fawn season, you'll see hoofs in their belly because they're killing elk and fawns.
Yeah. I mean, Americans were so like sensitive, you know, like I remember I posted a video. I went on this like high fence hunt in Texas. I was invited for a badass hunt. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. It was archery. So I'm in a blind and there's like a bait station and there's this fucking like, you know, massive monster coming there. And, you know, I had this like perfect fucking shot. It was perfect. It's beautiful. And it was a sick experience because like I got unknocked. My arrow came off my my rest. And I'm just like drawing back the whole time. I'm like, oh shit. So like the guy like put it back on. I'm like, it felt like I was holding back for like 2 minutes and it was just badass.
Yeah.
And I remember posting on social media and they're like, oh, that's so fucked up. Baiting an animal like that. I'm like, motherfucker, or ambushing an animal like that. I'm like, dude, I'd ambush you too to feed my family. Like, how do you think we be conducting business?
Dude, the bear baiting is so much work. It ain't like you go drop a little scribble on the ground and you come and there's a 6 foot bear comes in, man. The amount of time and effort that goes into controlling the population with that method. Oh yeah. First of all, we're successful at it. You know, you can go spot and stalk black bear all you like, but you know, you can only have so much success doing it that way. But we go up there, we clean out the same area every year, and there's just as many bears the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, North Idaho has abundance of black bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I helped my friend like carry the food in there, and on a previous trip, he carried in all the barrels with a couple other buddies. I'm like, dude, you brought that fucking barrel all the way over here? Like, it ain't like it's a pop-up sack, you know?
No.
That thing is heavy.
No. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll have you on for sure.
Yeah. Definitely again next year after a good hunt. Come on and talk about your experience and
talk vets some more. I'm excited about the vet. I don't think I talk enough about vets because I think there's a lot that need help.
I'm fucking proud of vets, dude. I'm proud of them. Dudes, chicks, whether they've done anything or not, dude, I'm fucking proud of them because they might not feel like they've done anything to themselves, but they've done something to people in their community. There's someone that looks up to them. There's someone that's proud of them. And, you know, they just got to keep on putting their fucking head high and going after the things that are challenging them that they want in life, you know, and that's what anyone deserves that in life, especially veterans.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
All right.